Zhao Yi sat inside a cramped cabin barely 2 square meters in size, his face filled with confusion. Just moments ago, he had been playing games at home. A flash of white light appeared, and the next thing he knew, he was here, his mind still in a daze. What on earth is going on? He glanced out the window. Ahead of the spacecraft loomed a gas giant, so massive it instinctively inspired fear. Recognizable by its iconic Great Storm, Zhao Yi knew exactly which planet this was: Jupiter. There was no mistaking it. Between Jupiter and the star-studded void, countless pinpricks of light floated. From this distance, only dense clusters of glowing points could be seen, yet several that drifted a little closer revealed faint outlines of boxes of varying sizes. Their surfaces shimmered in bronze, silver, and even gold, drifting motionless and without pattern in the vacuum of space. And among these treasure chests, creatures swam, some large, some small. At that moment, a cold mechanical voice echoed. Announcement: the universal cosmic survival has officially begun. All humans from Blue Star have been entered into this trial. Each survivor is provisioned with a low-grade spacecraft, basic supplies, and one random talent. Countless cosmic beasts fill the universe. Dangers abound, yet opportunities are equally boundless. Newbie protection period active, 7 days. During this window, cosmic beasts will not assault survivors' spacecraft. Current zone: Solar System Main Sector, Jupiter Subsector, Newbie Zone 10086. Survivor Zhao Yi, please confirm your status panel. Zhao Yi took a deep breath, coming to terms with everything that had happened. He raised his hand, hovering his fingertips half a second above the control console, then tapped the pop-up virtual panel option. A translucent pale blue light screen unfolded in midair, and rows of his personal statistics lit up. Survivor Zhao EHP 100 energy, 100 strength, 1 standard value for an average adult male, 1 spirit, 1.1 speed, 1 constitution, 1.1 exp, 0/100 skills, none equipment, none talent. Finger of Evolution Supreme Tier. Zhao Yi scanned through the preceding stats. Strength and speed sat right at baseline, with spirit and constitution marginally higher, though only by decimal point increments. Hardly any meaningful advantage. No skills, no equipment. He possessed a perfectly ordinary starting setup. Then his gaze fell to the talent entry, its text shimmering in 7 colors, marked Supreme Tier. Before his mind could fully process it, Zhao Yi's finger moved, tapping the entry open. Talent: Finger of Evolution Rank, Supreme Tier effect, may be used on any object to trigger its evolution. Evolution grants between 13 rank increases. The specific evolutionary path and outcome are determined by the target's inherent nature. Cannot be used on spacecraft. Uses per day: 3. 3 uses automatically replenished daily. Uses may be stockpiled, maximum stockpile: 10. Cooldown: None. Description: touch and witness all things ascend to greater heights. Zhao Yi read the description 3 times from start to finish, excitement surging through him. Just then, new alert tones blared from the control console. Several beams of light pierced upward from the metal floor beneath his feet. The light coalesced into 3 glowing orbs, which swelled and solidified into 3 metal crates. Zhao Yi knew these were the basic supplies the system had mentioned. Labels hovered directly above each crate. Human Supply Crate U Iron Tier, basic survival provisions for survivors. Plain and functional, items that will keep you alive for a few extra days. Human Equipment Crate, Iron Tier. A new survivor's first piece of gear usually comes from here. Do not complain. Having something is better than nothing. Spacecraft Equipment Crate, Iron Tier. Outfit your spacecraft. Be warned, Iron Tier means these items may not hold up for many uses. Zhao Yi keenly noticed that even crates carried descriptions. It told him at least part of this world operated under rigid game-like rules. Ranks, descriptions, clear categorization logic. That worked in his favor. Defined rules were far better than no rules at all. He crouched down, holding his hand hovering above the first human supply crate. Instead of opening it right away, he took a deep breath and thought to himself, use Finger of Evolution on this crate. A cold prompt resounded directly inside his head. The target is a system-sealed container and cannot be affected by any talent ability. Please open the container first and apply the ability to its contents. Zhao Yi was not overly surprised. If crates themselves could be evolved, he would be able to alter their rank before opening them. Such an exploit would not exist in a well-designed system. He pressed his palm against the lid of the human supply crate. The lid popped open on contact. Neatly stacked inside were cans. There were not many. A quick glance told him there was roughly enough for one person to survive for a week. Basic nutrient cans crate, Iron Tier type. Consumable description: a sealed crate of standard nutrient cans in assorted flavors. Meets the basic caloric needs of an adult human for 7 days. Iron Tier food keeps you alive, but do not expect it to taste good. Zhao Yi set the crate of cans aside and opened the second crate, the human equipment crate. Its lid flipped open to reveal a neatly folded spacesuit with clear signs of aging across its fabric. Worn EVA spacesuit, Iron Tier type. Defensive gear defense. 3 durability. 45-55 special effects. None oxygen reserve. Supports 30 minutes of extravehicular activity. Zhao Yi read the stats and pinched the fabric of the spacesuit between his fingers. The texture felt coarse, its fibers stiff with age, matching its description. 3 defense points barely qualified as minimal protection. He noted the durability reading, 45-55. The gear had not been issued in perfect condition. Either system-issued items came with random wear and tear, or this was standard for Iron Tier equipment. Setting the spacesuit aside, he opened the final spacecraft equipment crate. Inside lay a grappling hook, structurally similar to an engineering use model. Its handle was as long as an adult's forearm, with a trigger-style firing mechanism at its rear. A description panel floated into view. Spacecraft tether grappling hook, Iron Tier type. Tool range, 100 meters damage, 5 points durability, 85/100 effect. Upon firing, the hook head automatically clamps onto target objects. 3 crates, 3 items total. Cans to sustain him for a week. A spacesuit allowing extravehicular activity, yet with only 30 minutes of oxygen and no built-in propulsion. Its defensive value negligible. The grappling hook could latch onto objects with a 100-meter range. It dealt minor damage and was clearly not meant for combat, designed primarily for snatching treasure chests. A textbook standard starting resource loadout. Zhao Yi squatted, his gaze sweeping across the 3 items. Cans, spacesuit, grappling hook. All Iron Tier, the lowest possible rank. Yet in the presence of Finger of Evolution, the very meaning of rank would need to be rewritten. He stretched out his right hand, fingers spread. A warm sensation seeped up from his knuckles, and his fingertips began to glow. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, violet light shone from beneath his nail beds. Prismatic light flowed and swirled across his skin. Zhao Yi stared at his hand for several seconds, then grinned. This was the Finger of Evolution. He reached toward the crate of cans. The moment his fingertips touched the crate, the 7-hued light found an outlet, surging down his fingers and washing over the crate's surface. Layers of luminous film wrapped the crate, and the cans inside emitted faint trembling sounds. A translucent prompt panel popped up above the crate. Finger of Evolution activated target. Basic nutrient cans crate, Iron Tier Evolution rank gain. 2 iron bronze silver evolution commencing. The light contracted sharply before bursting outward. Colorful light flooded the cabin for an instant, then snapped back into the crate. Zhao Yi squinted instinctively. When he opened his eyes, the crate before him had transformed completely. Instead of stacked cans, there stood a cylindrical sealed glass tube etched with dense dark gold runes. Inside swirled deep amber liquid, resembling honey yet clearer and lighter. Weightless in zero gravity, it rolled slowly, catching glints of golden radiance. A brand new description panel hovered above the glass tube. Stellar Energy Nutrient Elixir, Silver Tier type. Consumable/enhancement agent effects. Upon ingestion, supplies 10 days of full nutritional requirements, eliminates hunger and fatigue, and permanently raises the consumer's 4 core attributes. Description: Iron Tier cans evolved into a genuinely valuable item. More than merely satisfying hunger, it recalibrates bodily parameters on the cellular level. 10 days without food, plus physical enhancement. Silver Tier consumables were reliably practical. Zhao Yi reread the words, permanently raises, twice. Without hesitation, he twisted open the tube seal. As the cap loosened, a fresh sweet scent filled the air. He brought the tube to his lips and tilted his head back to drink. The liquid was not thick. It tasted cool going down, yet turned into a warm current once past his throat. Warmth spread outward from his stomach, flowing through blood vessels and nerve endings toward every corner of his body. His muscles tingled, and faint vibrations resonated deep within his bones. The sensation lasted roughly 10 seconds, then faded away. Zhao Yi looked down at his hands. Externally nothing had changed, yet he could feel the difference. Opening and closing his palms felt quicker, and every squeeze of his fist revealed extra tension in his forearm tendons. He pulled up his status panel. Survivor, Zhao EHP, 100 energy, 100 level, 1 strength, 1.6 spirit, 1.6 speed, 1.7 Constitution, 1.7 EXP, 0/100. All 4 core attributes sat above 1.5. Speed led at 1.7, Strength and Constitution both hit 1.6, and Spirit had also improved. Against the baseline of an average adult male at 1, every stat was now over 50% higher. Zhao Yi rolled his neck. He wondered if he could win several Olympic gold medals if he returned to Blue Star right now. Yet he had no idea what state Blue Star was in. For now, he floated above Jupiter. Setting the empty glass tube aside, he turned his attention to the second item, the worn spacesuit, Iron Tier, a basic piece of protective gear with no combat capability whatsoever. Zhao Yi crouched and pressed his right palm against the spacesuit's chest plate. Prismatic light welled from his fingertips once more, even brighter than before, as though he was growing more attuned to his talent. Light spread along the fabric fibers, and the entire spacesuit glowed. A prompt panel appeared. Finger of Evolution activated target. Worn EVA spacesuit, Iron Tier Evolution rank gain. 3 iron, bronze, silver, gold light exploded outward, far more intense this time. Zhao Yi's heart leaped. The talent description stated each use granted between 1 to 3 rank increases, depending on chance. He had hit maximum gain, 3 full ranks. The brightness forced him to avert his eyes. Brilliant white light flooded the cabin, cycling through multiple colors before settling into a rich golden hue. A new suit stood before him. Barely any resemblance remained to the original spacesuit. Its primary color was dark gray, shimmering with metallic gold when light struck its surface. Elongated leg armor featured circular power assist joints at the knees, with pre-grooved thruster nozzles on each outer calf. A full exoskeleton brace ran along the spine, with a circular main thruster interface embedded between the shoulder blades pulsing with faint dark gold pulses. A foldable carbon fiber helmet frame retracted into storage slots at the rear neck guard, ready to deploy at any moment. Deep Space Hunter Combat Suit, Gold Tier Type. Power Armor / Extravehicular Combat Suit Defense. 85 attributes. Strength +20, Spirit +20, Speed +20, Constitution +20, Durability 300/300. Special effects. Microthruster system. For vector control thrusters mounted at shoulder blades and calves. Enables full-range maneuvering in vacuum. Maximum acceleration of 2.5 g. Runtime tied to spacecraft power supply. Vacuum combat adaptation. Grade 4 closed-loop life support system. 48-hour oxygen self-sufficiency. Recycles exhaled gases. Extreme endurance ceiling of 72 hours. Tolerates temperature ranges from 200 degrees Celsius to 1,200 degrees Celsius. Primary force field shield. Activates a 2-meter wide, 2.5 meter tall energy barrier in front of the wearer. Overloads after absorbing 300 total damage points. 15-minute cooldown. Shield drains the suit's internal power reserves while active. Neural response fibers. Neural sensor mesh woven into inner armor lining reduces neural signal latency to 0. 3 seconds, granting near-instinctive movement synchronization. Weapon mounting hardpoints. 2 hardpoints on each forearm, 2 on the back. Compatible with most low-to-mid-tier energy weapons and melee arms. Description: a single-person combat suit capable of crushing cosmic beasts' skulls out in vacuum. Once you put this on, you are no longer helpless flesh adrift in space. You become a combat unit capable of hunting prey. Zhao Yi read through the full description, drew in a deep breath, and slowly exhaled. Gold tier equipment. Incredible. Finger of Evolution vastly exceeded his expectations. Jumping straight from iron to gold, skipping bronze and silver entirely. Defense value of 85, nearly 30 times higher than the original suit's 3. Instead of putting it on immediately, he carefully set the combat suit aside and picked up the final item. The tether grappling hook, Iron Tier, 100-meter range, 5 damage points. If the cans represented survival supplies and the spacesuit represented protection, this grappling hook represented utility. Zhao Yi placed his right hand against the grappling hook's handle, and rainbow light ignited once again. Finger of Evolution activated target. Spacecraft tether grappling hook, Iron Tier Evolution rank gain. 2 iron, bronze, silver. Zhao Yi watched as the grappling hook transformed in his palm. Metal melted, yet no heat transferred onto his skin. Structures disassembled and elongated within the luminous haze. When the light faded, he held a cannon in his hands. Heavier than the original grappling hook, nearly 50 centimeters long overall. Its square main barrel measured roughly 8 centimeters across, with rows of faint blue energy channels running along each edge toward the muzzle. Instead of an empty bore, The muzzle held a translucent crystal lens etched with fine hexagonal grid patterns, radiating visible pale blue cold light. The handle extended downward from the rear body, wrapped in non-slip composite material shaped to fit his palm. 3 touch-sensitive buttons sat side by side where his thumb rested. Weight balanced perfectly at his web space, giving it a solid, stable feel. Rectangular light cannon, silver tier type, energy weapon / secondary spacecraft-mounted cannon. Damage, 120-180 per shot range. 800 meters handheld / 50,000 meters spacecraft-mounted energy cost. 0.2 energy points per shot mounted mode. 0.1 energy points per shot independent handheld mode durability. 200/200. Special effects. Piercing strike. Beams penetrate low and mid-ear force fields. Damage decreases by 40% after penetration. Weak point scorch. After landing 3 consecutive hits on one target, the 4th strike triggers energy scorching at the impact point, dealing an extra 60% damage. Spacecraft mount compatibility. Can be fitted to spacecraft weapon hardpoints, drawing power from the ship's energy system and supporting automatic fire. Mounted mode boosts range to 1,200 meters and draws damage values from the upper end of the damage range. Zhao Yi hefted the rectangular light cannon in both hands. It felt well balanced, its grip angle allowing stable one-handed aiming. Damage ranging from 120 to 180, with the ability to pierce low and mid-ear shields. Against opponents with equal rank or even one-ranker defensive gear, this weapon could still deal meaningful harm. Zhao Yi thought for a moment, then stood and walked toward the main control console. The main console occupied 2/3 of the forward cabin wall. Earlier, he had only looked at the floating translucent status screen. Now he needed to learn about the spacecraft itself. The console was a single curved composite panel densely packed with buttons and displays. It was split into 6 major modules arranged left to right. Each module bore an identifier written in an unfamiliar script. Yet whenever his gaze lingered longer than a millisecond, the characters shifted and morphed, translating automatically into Chinese. He tapped the leftmost communications section first. The screen lit up, displaying a header. Channel, Jupiter Subsector Newbie Zone 10086, beneath it scrolled live chat messages. They refreshed steadily, new posts appearing every few seconds. Zhao Yi skimmed through them. Help! What is that huge thing outside my ship? I opened a crate and got an iron tier screwdriver. Can I fight with this somehow? Did everybody see all those monsters out there? My hands are shaking. Stay calm, everyone. We have 7 days of newbie protection. There is still time. What good are 7 days? We are all going to die once it ends. Anyone strong enough to take me along? My spirit stat is 1.3, looking for teammates. Teamwork. How do you even get outside? None of us have thrusters. Does anyone have extra food? I don't have many cans, and I'm worried I won't last 7 days. Your food shortage is not my problem. I only got 1 crate too. How long will this chat channel stay active? Will we run out of power for it eventually? Zhao Yi skimmed through more than a dozen posts with a blank expression, then exited the chat section. They were filled with nothing but fear-stricken pleas for help, complaints, and mindless mutual comfort. The entire chat channel functioned as a massive emotional outlet. Everyone was still going through the psychological transition from citizens of Blue Star to cosmic survivors. He understood their reactions, but understanding did not make these messages useful to him in any way. He continued scrolling right. The second module was the trading zone. He tapped in for a quick glance. The interface was nearly empty, bearing only a system notice. Trading features will unlock on day 2 of the novice phase. The third module was stellar map navigation. Upon opening it, he saw a scaled-down 3-dimensional map of the solar system. Most areas were shrouded in gray fog, with only a few markers near Jupiter's orbit lit up. His spacecraft was marked by a blue triangular icon, drifting slowly along Jupiter's orbital path. The star map was dotted with countless treasure chest markers and red skull markers. The red skulls clearly denoted the positions of space beasts. He closed the star map and opened the 4th module, the energy module. This interface was more streamlined, yet far more jarring than the previous ones. At its center sat a circular energy gauge, partially filled by a green light column that rose to roughly half its calibrated height. Above the gauge hung a number, 9/20. 3 sub-items were displayed side by side. Life support system, 0. 8 energy consumed per day, spacecraft orbital adjustment, 2 energy points per use, weapon system mount slot, awaiting equipment installation. Beneath the energy gauge, a red warning scrolled in tiny font. All spacecraft functions rely on energy supply. Once energy drops to 0, life support will shut down, oxygen generation will cease, and this vessel will become a drifting coffin. Always monitor remaining energy reserves. Zhao Yi stared at the 9/20ths reading for several seconds before gazing out the viewport. Jupiter rotated slowly out there, treasure chests floated by, and space beasts roamed the void. Energy meant survival. Without energy, there would be no oxygen, no thruster power, no weapons. Right now he held only 9 energy points. Life support drained nearly 1 point each day, and a single orbital adjustment cost 2. He closed the energy management interface and tapped the fifth, rightmost module, Spacecraft Equipment Bay. A three-dimensional wireframe schematic of the spacecraft popped up on screen, the silhouette of the small craft rotating slowly at the center. Several green mounting ports were labeled across the wireframe. One medium-sized mount on the top hull, one medium-sized mount on the bottom hull, and 2 small-sized mounts on the port and starboard sides. A prompt appeared at the bottom of the screen, detected uninstalled spacecraft equipment, ray beam cannon. Install now? Zhao Yi tapped yes without hesitation. The ray beam cannon vanished from inventory. A crisp metallic click echoed through the hull as it locked into place. The ray beam cannon automatically fitted itself to the medium-sized mount atop the spacecraft. On screen, a turret icon appeared on the top of the 3D spacecraft model, accompanied by a status notification, ray beam cannon top mount, installed E-ready. A thought suddenly occurred to Zhao Yi, this very spacecraft. Everything in this cosmos, even a scrap metal can, came with complete stat readouts. There was no way this craft, his sole hope for survival, would lack documentation. He reopened the main console interface and spotted a previously overlooked icon furthest to the right, a miniature silhouette of the spacecraft hull labeled simply, Hull. He tapped it. A translucent pale blue panel unfolded above the console, displaying far more data than his personal status sheet. At the top ran the heading, Initiate Survival Spacecraft, Iron Grade Renameable. Beneath it rotated a three-dimensional structural blueprint of the vessel. Its shape matched the reflection he had glimpsed in the viewport glass. An oval spherical hull with 2 rear propulsion nozzles, circular weapon mounts on both top and bottom, and an overall listed length of 6.2 meters. Rows of stat fields followed the blueprint. Zhao Yi read from top to bottom. Energy System, Iron Grade, Max Energy Capacity, 20 Energy Regeneration, 1./24 hours Passive Regeneration, Subject to Interstellar Particle Density, Current Energy Production Efficiency, Level 1 Minimum Upgrade Requirement, 50 Energy Points, Iron Bronze. A tiny footnote read, The energy system is the heart of the spacecraft. At Iron Grade, its maximum capacity is barely enough to keep one survivor alive. Do not expect surplus power for additional operations. Zhao Yi lingered for a moment on the words, barely enough to keep one survivor alive, then continued reading with an impassive expression. Life Support System, Iron Grade, Oxygen Generation Efficiency, Level 1 Single Human, Standard Water Cycle Recovery Rate, 75% Temperature Regulation Range, 10 degrees Celsius 35 degrees Celsius Carbon Dioxide Filter Threshold, 1 human/48 hours filter cartridge replacement required upon exceeding limit upgrade requirement, 30 energy points, Iron Bronze. Propulsion System, Iron Grade, Propulsion Type, Basic Chemical Fuel Rocket Thrusters Maximum Cruise Velocity, 1,200 kilometers per hour Vacuum Orbital Adjustment Energy Cost, 2 energy points per use Acceleration Performance, 0 to 600 kilometers per hour in 18 seconds Unloaded Upgrade Requirement, 40 energy points Iron Bronze Fuel Remaining, 87%. Weapon System, Iron Grade, Mount Slots, 1 medium-sized top mount, 1 medium-sized bottom mount currently equipped. Top mount, Ray Beam Cannon Silver Grade Bottom Mount. Vacant Fire Coverage. Top mount features 360 degrees horizontal rotation /75 degrees vertical pitch target locking assistance. Non-iron grade mounting hardware lacks fire control module upgrade requirement. 45 energy points, Iron Bronze. Shield System, Iron Grade, Shield Value. Non-iron grade configuration omits shield generator upgrade requirement. 50 energy points, Iron Bronze. Unlocks basic energy shield upon upgrade. Detection System, Iron Grade, Radar Scan Radius. 50 kilometers target identification capability. Basic can only distinguish Space Beast /non-Space Beast /treasure chest hostile unit early warning. No automated alert. Only passively marks Space Beasts entering scan range upgrade requirement. 35 energy points, Iron Bronze. Cargo Compartment, Iron Grade. Internal Volume, 2 cubic meters current contents. 1 carbon-based life form, 1.8 m in height. External Collection Manipulator. None iron grade configuration omits hardware upgrade requirement. 20 energy points, iron bronze. The final section laid out overall spacecraft upgrade prerequisites. Spacecraft overall upgrade conditions, current tier, iron grade upgrade to bronze grade requirement. All subsystems must reach bronze grade, plus an additional 100 energy points for holistic upgrade. Zhao Yi read through every entry. He closed the panel and fell silent for a long while. All 7 subsystems remained iron grade. Each was built only to sustain bare-bones survival. Energy output barely supported one occupant's life functions. Life support maintained breathing for a single person only. Propulsion could barely reposition the craft. No shields existed whatsoever. The cargo hold spanned merely 2 cubic meters, scarcely enough to stow extra gear. A 50-kilometer radar scan radius was functionally myopic on cosmic scales. By the time threats registered on sensors, they would very likely already be closing in on his hull. Most troubling of all was the energy system. Maximum capacity 20 points, with only 9 currently available. Combined subsystem upgrade costs totaled 270 energy points. Adding the 100-point cost for overall spacecraft upgrade brought the total to 370 points against his current reserve of 9. He needed energy points, vast quantities of them. But where could they be obtained? The system offered no explanation. Equipment evolution drew no energy point cost and relied solely on innate talents. Subsystem upgrades and spacecraft tier advancement demanded energy points, yet no panel described how to acquire them. Zhao Yi reopened the communications channel. The same stream of messages persisted. Cries of terror, pleas for allies, complaints of worthless loot from chests, requests for team-ups. He quickly scrolled through several pages, finding zero discussion regarding energy point acquisition. He typed a message into the input box. Zhao Yi. Quick question. Does anyone know how to obtain energy points? By killing space beasts or opening treasure chests. He sent it, then leaned against the console and waited. His post lingered briefly before being buried beneath fresh cries for help. No replies arrived. After waiting another 30 seconds and preparing to close the channel, a response popped up from the bottom of the feed. Suing Shue, treasure chests grant them. I just looted an energy-type chest and gained 5 points. Zhao Yi was about to reply when another message appeared. Suing Shue, my guess is chests are the primary source. I'm unsure about killing space beasts. I haven't fought any yet. Right afterwards, Suing Shue sent a private communication request. Zhao Yi glanced at the requester's name, hesitated 2 seconds, and accepted. The interface shifted to private chat. Suing Shue's avatar was the default pale blue icon. Suing Shue, you aren't one of those people wailing for rescue in public chat. Zhao Yi considered his wording and replied. Zhao Yi, neither are you. Suing Shue, this novice zone's index number exceeds 10,800. That means Jupiter sector holds at least 10,000 plus novice zones. I don't know how many people occupy each zone, but in ours, you are the first to ask concrete questions about resource acquisition. My proposal is straightforward, band together. Share intelligence, share resources. You do not need to send me your coordinates or equipment details. Simply keep communications open. I will relay useful intel I uncover, and you pass along whatever you find. Leaning against the console, Zhao Yi weighed the offer carefully. He had no interest in resource sharing. His finger of evolution could elevate any loot to higher tiers. Dividing resources would expose his unique trump card with zero net benefit. Intelligence sharing, however, was a different matter. Within this cosmos where every subsystem hungered for energy points, poor decisions cost time, power, and even lives. One person could only gather so much information. An extra source of intel meant one less hazard he would have to learn about through bitter trial and error. Zhao Yi replied immediately. Count me out for resource sharing, but intelligence sharing works. Adding you to contacts. Suing Shue direct. We exchange findings going forward, no formalities. Contact request approved. The private chat window closed. Suing Shue's name appeared in Zhao Yi's contact list. He minimized the communications panel and gazed outward through the viewport. The same star-studded void stretched before him, dotted with floating treasure chests. Most lay far away, registering only as gray markers on his limited sensors, their tiers unidentifiable. Opening the detection panel, he filtered targets within his 50-kilometer scan radius. Rows of markers populated the screen, gray for unidentified objects, red skulls for space beasts, copper-green squares for treasure chests. The majority were iron-grade, dim just like his spacecraft. Occasional faint bronze glowing markers appeared, yet they sat at extreme distances. As he continued scanning, one object seized his attention. Approximately 800 meters directly ahead of his craft hovered an iron-grade treasure chest. No Red Skull markers surrounded it. No trace of Space Beast activity showed nearby. 800 meters was negligible distance by cosmic standards. After double-checking sensor readings, Zhao Yi returned to the main console and gripped the manual control sticks. The spacecraft's propulsion system rumbled with a low, deep vibration transmitted through the hull into the metal floor beneath his feet. 20 seconds later, Zhao Yi brought the vessel to a halt roughly 20 meters from the chest. Through the viewport, he could clearly make out its outline. The iron-grade chest possessed dull metallic sheen, identical to the 3 chests he had opened aboard ship, spinning slowly as it drifted in vacuum. Then came the problem. He glanced around the cabin. No mechanical arms, no retrieval drones, no external operation tools were on board. The grappling hook provided by the system had already been evolved into the ray beam cannon. How could he retrieve this chest? As he pondered at the console, Zhao Yi accepted reality. Certain risks simply had to be taken. He bent down and picked up the Deep Hunter combat suit. The golden-grade armor felt heavy and substantial in his hands. Dark gray plating shimmered with faint golden highlights. Energy circuit patterns flickered softly upon contact with his palms. He located the release buckle on the side of the breastplate and pressed it. A seam split open along the suit's spinal ridge. He inserted his legs first. The suit's inner lining consisted of elastic fibrous mesh, with a texture reminiscent of silk blended with sharkskin. Countless fine fibers adhered gently to his skin as he slid his body inside. Next came his arms, then his torso. Once fully encased, the rear seam sealed shut with a low-pitched airtight locking thud. Power surged through him. The suit granted 20 bonus points to all attributes. An overwhelming flood of strength permeated every surface covered by armor, racing along nerve pathways toward his brainstem. Muscle groups twitched under stimulation from the suit's inner fibers, each fiber trembling under low-level electrical impulse. His vision blurred for a fraction of a second before refocusing sharply. He could discern every scratch texture on the cabin walls, every flicker of individual pixels across console displays, even the direction each fine hair on his hand bent under pressure from the inner lining. Each heartbeat boomed like a drum. Blood circulated through his limbs so rapidly he could feel his fingertips throbbing. He pulled up his status panel. Survivor, Zhao Yi Health, 100 Energy, 100 Strength, 21.6 Spirit, 21.6 Speed, 21.7 Constitution, 21.7. All attributes had multiplied roughly 20-fold, practically elevating him to a different physical tier. An average adult human baseline equaled 1. Every stat sat above 20. His grip strength exceeded 2 tons. His sprint speed would outpace a cheetah. His lung capacity allowed hours of submersion. His bone density meant falling from a 10-story building would more likely damage the ground than injure him. Clenching his fist slowly inside the armor, Zhao Yi walked toward the airlock. This 6-meter-long small spacecraft featured only one circular mid-hull exit hatch, less than 80 centimeters in diameter, barely wide enough for a person in full heavy gear to squeeze through. Immediately inside the outer hatch sat a compact pressure isolation chamber, less than 1 square meter in area, built to hold exactly 1 occupant. He stepped inside and closed the inner ceiling door. From a wall storage compartment, he retrieved a safety tether. This was standard ship-supplied extravehicular equipment, a composite fiber cable as thick as a thumb. One end anchored to an external hull tie-down point, while the other clipped onto the waist mount locking buckle of his combat suit. The cable stretched to a maximum length of 200 meters and boasted a rated tensile strength of 30 tons. Out in space, this rope represented his soul way back to the ship. Should it slip free, the drifting person would be nothing more than a corpse waiting for death. He secured one end to the anchor fixture inside the airlock, tugging twice to confirm it was locked solid, then fastened the opposite end to the alloy buckle at his combat suit's waist. Click. The latch engaged. He pressed the outer hatch pressure release valve. Air evacuated from the isolation chamber within seconds. The hissing noise of venting faded away until total silence prevailed. The outer hatch swung open soundlessly. Without air to carry sound, the entire egress process was eerily quiet. Zhao Yi stepped out into outer space. Cosmic void pressed in upon him from every direction. Up and down lost all meaning the instant he crossed the threshold. Jupiter lay beneath his feet. Boundless deep space stretched overhead. Jupiter's gravitational pull exerted an invisible tug on his body, yet micro-thrusters built into his combat suit activated within a tenth of a second. For vector nozzles set into his shoulder blades and calves expelled faint blue ion exhaust, counteracting gravitational drift and holding him steadily, suspended in vacuum. Jupiter rotated far below. No screen could replicate that overwhelming scale. Its cloud bands resembled torn silk. Storm vortices boasted diameters greater than planet Earth itself. The great red spot drifted slowly, every surface detail sharp enough to send chills down the spine. Zhao Yi glanced down at his hands. Armored fingers glinted dim gold in the red reflected glow of Jupiter, set against the backdrop of that colossal gas giant. 20 meters away, the treasure chest hung suspended. Setting aside the awe-inspiring view of Jupiter, Zhao Yi switched to manual flight control. His combat suit's thrusters responded instantaneously. Nerve impulses traveled through responsive fibers with merely 0.03-second latency to each vector nozzle. Small exhaust ports on his calves spat thin pale blue ion plumes, propelling him toward the chest at carefully regulated low velocity. He covered the 20-meter distance in roughly 4 seconds. Upon arriving beside the chest, he experienced zero inertial drift. The suit's attitude control system fine-tuned nozzle angles automatically, maintaining perfect hover stability as he decelerated. He reached out and grasped the chest's edge. This iron-grade chest possessed the same rough, cool black metal surface as the three he had opened aboard the ship, ringed by a faint black halo. Supporting its weight with one hand, he turned and flew back toward the vessel. Objects possessed no weight in zero gravity, yet inertia persisted. A faint centrifugal force transmitted up his arm as he altered course. The combat suit's thrusters compensated automatically, guiding him securely back to the outer hull. He maneuvered the chest inside the airlock opening, then slid himself in after it. Once he had resealed the outer hatch, repressurized the chamber, and opened the inner ceiling door to re-enter the main cabin, the iron-grade treasure chest rested quietly upon the metal floor. Before he could crouch down to open it, a sharp alert tone chimed from the console. The notification possessed a higher, sharper pitch than previous system sounds, carrying clear warning intent. He looked toward the screen. The detection system rendered a red silhouette approximately 500 meters directly ahead of the spacecraft. The target was modest-sized, scanning data indicating a body length of roughly 1.8 meters, matching Zhao Yi's own height. Its shape resembled a jellyfish, a spindle-shaped main body with 4 symmetric fin-like appendages along its sides, plus a pair of forked feelers extending forward from its anterior end. It moved in an unusual manner. Instead of thruster propulsion, it advanced by contracting and expanding its soft body, each contraction launching it forward across empty space. It drifted onward at moderate constant speed. Text popped up beside the red outline. Void Drifter, Level 2. Threat Assessment. Low cannot penetrate combat suit armor. Status. Neutral will not initiate attacks under novice phase protection. Level 2. Low threat. Observing the creature drift gradually closer, Zhao Yi made his decision without prolonged hesitation. He reopened the airlock, re-entered the pressure isolation chamber, vented the air once more, and stepped out into vacuum again. This time he left the safety tether behind. The cable would restrict his range of movement if he engaged the space beast. The Void Drifter had drifted to within 300 meters of the spacecraft. It clearly registered the ship's presence, yet exhibited no hostile posture. It seemingly lacked any concept of aggression. Its 4 fin-like appendages undulated gently, swimming leisurely through absolute vacuum. Zhao Yi activated his combat suit's low-power silent thrust mode. The 4 vector nozzles throttled output down, their bright pale blue exhaust fading to nearly invisible dark purple glows. He traced a gentle curved trajectory, approaching the Void Drifter from its rear flank. 200 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters. The Void Drifter remained oblivious. Its feelers swayed softly in the void, its spindle-shaped body contracting and expanding as it continued its aimless drift. As a Level 2 space beast, it occupied barely a higher rung on the cosmic food chain than microscopic organisms. Zhao Yi halted 5 meters away. At this close range, he could see the semi-transparent membrane covering its body. Bioluminescent deep blue organs pulsed slowly underneath. No eyes existed on its head, only a circular oral opening ringed with fine filter-like cilia. He chose not to fire the ray beam cannon. Each shot consumed energy, and such a low-rank space beast was not worth the expenditure. Zhao Yi clenched his right fist. Servo mechanisms within the forearm armor tightened instantly, maximizing power transmission efficiency. No elaborate wind-up was needed. Fighting in zero gravity required no dramatic stances. Accuracy of timing, distance, and impact angle were everything. His right fist struck at the maximum speed permitted by the combat suit's neural response fibers, slamming into the midsection of the Void Drifter floating in empty space. The instant his fist pierced the translucent membrane, He felt a fleeting moment of resistance before tearing straight through everything. The Void Drifter's body burst apart along its central axis like a water sack pierced by an iron rod. There was no blood, or at least none he recognized as such. With no atmospheric pressure in the vacuum to hold liquid in form, its inner cerulean bodily fluids instantly dispersed into a vast cloud of fine liquid droplets, drawn slightly out of shape by Jupiter's gravitational pull. Fluorescent blue organ fragments and debris tumbled and drifted outward through space. Several shards of membrane collided with his faceplate and slid away without a sound. Void Drifter eliminated. 12 experience points gained. One single punch. With the combat suit's 21.6 strength attribute, boosted by gauntlet structural reinforcement and thruster momentum compensation, the instantaneous impact force of this blow was enough to punch straight through the armor plate of a light armored vehicle from the front. A level 2 Void Drifter? It never even had time to register pain. Suddenly, a system announcement popped up. Server-wide announcement, Jupiter Sector, Newbie Zone 10086. Survivor Zhao Yi has completed the zone's first Starbeast kill. First kill reward received. 1 times selectable silver-grade treasure chest. Announcement end. Zhao Yi drifted in the void as a silver chest materialized out of thin air in his grasp. He cracked a smile. That was a pleasant surprise. He turned and flew back toward his starship. Shortly afterward, he arrived at the pressure isolation bay, closed the outer hatch, and waited for atmospheric pressure to restore. Amid the hissing rush of oxygen flooding into the compartment, he opened his comms panel. The chat channel had exploded. Messages scrolled past at 10 times their previous speed. His kill announcement had struck the calm waters like a boulder. Everyone was sending messages, lines of text rushing upward so fast individual posts were barely legible. Holy crap, first kill? How is he already doing this? Who's this big shot Zhao Yi carry us? I'm still shaking inside my cabin, and this guy's already out hunting star beasts. Big boss, post screenshots of your gear so we can see. Bro, what did you use to kill it? Ship-mounted weapons. He must have found some great loot. Regular iron-grade gear can't hurt star beasts. Anyone know Zhao Yi? Hook me up. Zhao Yi skimmed rapidly through the flood of messages. There were compliments, speculations, people trying to form connections, and folks curious about his equipment. None of it yielded actionable new information. The only person who could supply useful intel was already in his contacts list. A private message from Su Yingxue lit up mere seconds after the announcement went live. Su Yingxue, you moved faster than I expected. Got the first kill reward. Zhao, you just got it. A selectable silver-grade treasure chest. Su Yingxue, what category can you pick? Zhao, you haven't chosen yet. Su Yingxue, congrats. If you wind up with extra intel later, you can trade it to me. I opened a chest, got starship parts, bronze-grade engine components. I've already fitted them to my ship. Talk later. Zhao Yi sent a confirmation reply and minimized the comms interface. At that moment, the pressure-restored indicator lit green. He opened the inner airtight hatch and stepped back into the main cabin. The Deep Hunter combat suit switched to standby mode the moment he entered the ship. The neural fiber network inside the plating relaxed, and that overwhelming sense of power ebbed away slowly. Inside the cabin, Zhao Yi tapped the awarded selectable silver-grade treasure chest. Rows of options materialized before his eyes, and he read through them one by one. Please select your desired category. Human weaponry, silver-grade, contains 1 random silver-grade personal weapon, maybe a melee armament, individual firearm, or special combat gear. Human armor, silver-grade, contains 1 set of random silver-grade personal defensive equipment, maybe combat armor, a shield generator, or functional protective apparatus. Human enhancement, silver-grade, contains 1 permanent stat-boosting potion that comprehensively raises the dringers for core attributes. Human consumables, silver-grade, contains 1 high-value consumable item, maybe potions, ordnance, traps, energy chips, and more. Special category, a silver-grade, contains 1 piece of personal equipment with unique mechanics. Effects vary widely, can be extremely practical or heavily situational. Starship weaponry, silver-grade, contains 1 random silver-grade ship-mounted weapon, greatly boosting your vessel's combat performance. Starship equipment, silver-grade, contains 1 starship subsystem component, shield, sensor, propulsion, or special function module. Starship enhancement, silver-grade, contains 1 permanent starship upgrade that raises core parameters for a selected subsystem. Materials resources, silver-grade, contains an assortment of silver-grade crafting materials for gear reinforcement or starship refitting. Random mystery box, silver-grade, pure luck-based draw. May grant any of the above categories, or items outside this list entirely. Engineering machinery, a silver grade, contains one random silver grade engineering device to assist with construction work. Engineering blueprints, silver grade, contains one random silver grade engineering blueprint for constructing a silver grade engineering machine. Every option held strong appeal. Weapons, armor, stat boosts, resources. Having already experienced silver grade quality firsthand with his Deep Hunter combat suit and matrix cannon, he understood this was far more than a marginal improvement over iron grade gear. It was a qualitative leap. His current shortcomings stacked up. All Starship subsystems were iron grade. Energy reserves were critically low, and though he owned the combat suit and matrix cannon, his personal loadout still lacked diversity. Nearly every weakness could be addressed by one of these choices. Still, he did not make his selection right away. He minimized the panel and stowed it in his pending tasks tab. His evolution finger ability was already fully used for the day, with usage resetting at daily refresh. Wasting a silver grade chest reward without pushing its output higher with evolution finger would be foolish. He would decide tomorrow. Zhao Yi stored the selectable chest interface and glanced out the cabin viewport. The sight was breathtaking. Then he acted on an impulse with no practical gain, simply because he wanted to. He reopened the hatch, stepped back into the pressure isolation bay, initiated pressure venting, and exited the starship once more. He secured his safety tether, locked the carabiner, ignited his vector thrusters, and pushed away from the hull to drift outward. He had no destination in mind. He simply wanted to fly. Jupiter loomed beneath him, the colossal gas giant filling his entire downward field of view as it rotated slowly. Its cloud bands flowed like the slowest rivers across the cosmos, ribbons of red, white, and deep brown twisting, colliding, and tearing against one another. The great red spot drifted across the cloud tops, its swirling outer arms curling like a tightening palm, and storm systems shredded countless fine turbulent streamers. Sunlight streamed out from behind Jupiter, painting a fiery crimson-gold arc along the gas giant's limb, bright enough that his helmet visor automatically dimmed its transparency. He rolled over, turning upward to face the heavens. The starry expanse resembled a shattered crystal wall, its fragments filling every corner of sight, without gap or vacancy. The silvery dust band of the Milky Way arched overhead like a luminous river hanging in space, each star burning with almost surreal brilliance. Far off hung the faint lavender glow of nebulae. Dense clusters of star points glimmered further out, and even more distant loomed the silhouettes of star beasts moving slowly against the stellar background. They were so massive they could blot out small swathes of the galaxy. Though immense in absolute terms, cosmic distance shrank them until they looked like nothing more than distant stars. He cut his thrusters. Inertia carried him onward as his safety tether unreeled slowly behind him, the 200-meter cable drawing taut little by little. The combat suit's internal life support system hummed quietly. He could hear his own breathing. Absolute silence reigned all around. The vacuum formed an invisible sound barrier, sealing every external noise outside his suit. Yet within that perfect quiet, he perceived a calmer rhythm, his own heartbeat. Slow, steady, powerful. The Deep Hunter combat suit drew vital sign readings from his body through neural response fibers and fed simulated audio back through small resonators beside his eardrums, producing a tide-like sound. It served no practical function. It existed purely as comfort, a reminder. A reminder that out here, amid the frigid, boundless void, he was alive. He floated suspended between Jupiter and the Milky Way, with vast storms churning slowly far below and billions of stars shining overhead. Zhao Yi found himself growing fond of this place, not merely for cosmic grandeur and stellar immensity, but for the feeling it gave him, the sense of standing firm even adrift within endless emptiness, the thrill of traveling, fighting, and surviving across cosmic scales by his own strength. Back on Blue Earth, he had been ordinary. Mediocre stats, no special skills, no influential connections, easily lost within a crowd. But here, in Jupiter orbit, encased within armor granting 20 times human physical capability, he tasted something new. Freedom. No gravity dictated which way was up. No laws dictated what he could or could not do. No crowds dictated the path he ought to follow. Only himself, his starship, his innate talent, and a starry expanse waiting for him to carve his way through. He drifted in vacuum for roughly 10 minutes before reeling in his tether and pulling himself back toward the ship. The outer hatch closed silently behind him. Hissing pressure restoration sounds filled the isolation bay once more. The inner airtight hatch opened. He stepped back into the main cabin, sealed the door, and pressed the lockdown button. Back aboard the starship, Zhao Yi walked over to the control console. The cabin was cramped. A few steps would take you from one wall to the other, yet he had grown accustomed to the tight quarters. On the floor lay an unopened chest he had recovered earlier, an iron-grade container. Zhao Yi crouched and lifted its lid. There were no weapons or potions inside. Resting on shock-absorbent padding at the bottom were 4 sharply faceted translucent stones, each roughly the size of an adult's thumbnail. Sky blue in hue, each held a tiny floating speck of light within, like fireflies sealed inside amber. Primary energy stone, iron grade. Type: consumable/energy source effect. Upon use, raises your starship's energy capacity ceiling by 1 point. Description: energy aggregates formed when cosmic free particles crystallize under special conditions. Each stone equals 1 unit of energy. These were not especially rare across the universe, yet for an iron-grade starship, every single one meant extra breathing room. Zhao Yi picked up the 4 energy stones one after another, weighing them lightly in his palm. He slotted each stone into the energy system receptacle. The energy panel readout on the console climbed from 9 to 13. The green energy gauge bar rose noticeably. Though still far from full, its glow felt far more reassuring than before. Zhao Yi brushed dust from his hands, stood, and pulled up the sensor interface. A 50-kilometer scanning radius was minuscule on cosmic scales, yet treasure chest density within Jupiter orbit's debris belt exceeded his expectations. The sensor display teemed with markers. Most were gray, unidentified contacts. A handful showed teal treasure chest icons, and scattered red skull starbeast markers drifted slowly across the screen. He activated manual scanning mode and filtered out all iron-grade chest signatures from the cluttered signals. Distance, bearing, relative velocity. He logged every data point into the starship's simple navigation system. His plan was straightforward. Follow the most efficient flight path and collect every iron-grade chest within his 50-kilometer scan radius. The starship thrusters ignited, nozzles flaring bright orange-red. For the next half-day, Zhao Yi piloted his 6-meter small craft slowly through the debris belt. Space was vast. Even within this relatively chest-rich debris zone, average separation between chests ranged from several kilometers to more than 10 kilometers. Though his ship's top speed reached 1,200 kilometers per hour, he dared not travel fast. High-speed travel risked collision. Zhao Yi moved from chest to chest along his pre-computed route. At each location, he repeated the same routine. Decelerate, hold station, open hatches, exit the ship, fly over, retrieve the chest, fly back, seal hatches, repressurize, open the container. After several repetitions, the sequence became as natural as breathing. He grew increasingly proficient with his combat suit thrusters, tuning the 4 vector nozzle angles and power output to his preferred configuration. From exiting the airlock to returning with the chest took less than 1 minute total. Mid-run, he crossed paths with another survivor exactly once. While en route toward his 4th chest, a faint contact blip appeared at the edge of his sensor range. The identifier showed a 26-digit system-assigned serial number, followed by a random string of characters. No custom nickname, no user-defined ID, only the raw system-generated designation. The alien ship sat roughly 45 kilometers away, traveling on a nearly perpendicular intercept heading. Neither vessel decelerated. He peered through the viewport toward that sector, but saw nothing. On the display, the small marker representing another survivor drifted across the edge of sensor coverage and vanished. He sent no hail, and neither did the other party. 2 small iron-grade starships briefly passed within 5 kilometers of one another amid the debris belt, then vanished separately into the starry void, much like 2 fish brushing past each other deep in the ocean. System announcements kept playing. Cold synthesized audio echoed through the cabin 4 separate times. Server-wide announcement. Survivor Su Yingxue completes the zone's 2nd Starbeast kill. Reward: 1x selectable bronze-grade treasure chest. Server-wide announcement. Survivor Wang Lei completes the zone's 3rd Starbeast kill. Reward: 1x selectable bronze-grade treasure chest. Server-wide announcement. Survivor Chen Feng completes the zone's 4th Starbeast kill. Reward: 1x selectable iron-grade treasure chest. Server-wide announcement. Survivor Li Yu completes the zone's 5th Starbeast kill. Reward: 1x selectable iron-grade treasure chest. For more announcements followed for kills 6 through 10. After the first kill milestone, all subsequent Star Beast kill rewards were selectable iron-grade treasure chests. No further announcements appeared after the 10th entry. Zhao Yi did not hunt additional Star Beasts. He simply had not encountered isolated, appropriately ranked targets. Red skull icons occasionally popped up on his scanner, yet those Star Beasts were either far stronger than the one he had defeated earlier or traveled in packs. With only himself and an unshielded iron-grade starship lacking fire, control systems, charging blindly into groups of unknown alien creatures was not bravery. It was volunteering to become beast prey. Half a day later, Zhao Yi returned to his original starting sector. His haul exceeded expectations. 9 iron-grade treasure chests sat neatly stacked in a corner of the cabin, forming a small metallic pyramid. He began opening them one by one. The first chest yielded a portable iron-grade water purification unit capable of filtering 3 liters of contaminated water into drinkable water each day. The second held 12 compressed energy bars. Each bar supplied enough calories to sustain one person for a full day. Zhao Yi unwrapped one, took a bite, and set it aside with a blank expression. It tasted like cardboard. The third chest's contents caught him completely off guard. Inside sat a high-detail human-shaped practice simulation mannequin. Its craftsmanship was extraordinarily refined. Its facial features blended Eastern and subtle mixed ethnic traits. The simulated skin material possessed realistic warmth and elasticity, with fully articulated joints. A set of basic clothing accessories was included alongside it. The chest also contained a compact maintenance kit and an instruction manual printed in his readable language. High-fidelity anthropomorphic practice mannequin iron grade. A footnote read, constructed from simulated surface material. Near, realistic tactile feedback. Rated for at least 5 years of regular operational use. Zhao Yi lifted the mannequin by one arm and stared at it for 2 seconds. So you get trapped inside a tiny metal can adrift in the cosmos, and one of the things you might dig out of a treasure chest is a human-shaped dummy? He rolled his eyes. Great. It doesn't even simulate breathing, and now I have to find storage space for it. He tossed the anthropomorphic mannequin toward the cargo hold corner. It crumpled double, face, down wedged between a crate of rations and flexible water pouches in an awkward posture. Zhao Yi brushed dust off his hands, glanced once more at the corner, and shook his head. The universe is enormous, full of beasts, and treasure chests spit out human-shaped dummies. Whoever designed this cosmic survival system is either a genius or has a very strange sense of priorities. The fourth chest yielded more practical loot, an iron-grade lightweight inner-layer spacesuit lining. Worn beneath combat armor, it granted extra thermal insulation and modest impact damage mitigation. Its stats were unremarkable, yet at least it served a clear functional purpose, unlike the mannequin. The fifth chest contained starship spare parts, several replacement filter cartridges, and a roll of hull repair sealing tape. Iron-grade quality was mediocre, but these were essential ship maintenance supplies. The sixth chest held an iron-grade multi-purpose folding combat knife, equipped with a fire starter, miniature screwdriver, and short survival cord. Zhao Yi clipped it onto a mounting point of his combat suit. This was the first usable tool he had obtained today. Then came the seventh chest. Zhao Yi had held no special expectations when carrying it back to the cabin. After opening the previous 6 chests, he already knew the general quality of iron-grade loot. Rations, water, the mannequin, spare parts, a knife. Nothing had truly excited him. Inside rested a grappling hook, different from the one he already owned. Its base was a circular metal anchor plate fitted with standard starship external mount locking latches, matching the exact diameter of the matrix cannon mounting port atop his vessel. The grapple's main body extends from the anchor plate. It is larger, thicker, and structurally more complex than handheld variants. The grapple head is no simple 3-pronged anchor hook, but a precision capture unit fitted with 4 micro-vector nozzles and an independent attitude stabilization system. Precision towing grapple black, iron tier type, ship, mounted equipment occupies medium mounting point range, 200 meters capture accuracy, high equipped with independent attitude, adjustment thrusters load, bearing limit, 200 kilograms 0, gravity environment / 80 kilograms gravitational environment. Effect, upon firing, automatically locks onto the target and retracts it along the shortest path to the ship's cargo bay hatch at a retrieval speed of 3 meters per second. Can link with shipboard cabin systems to sort and store captured objects automatically after a successful grab. Mounting energy cost, 0.01 energy point per use, deducted directly from the ship's power system. Description, an externally mounted ship towing grapple. Install it on the vacant mounting point beneath your vessel, and you will no longer need to perform extravehicular work to salvage treasure chests. Sit in the pilot's seat, pull the trigger, and the grapple flies out to seize the container. Its mechanical arm reels it in and delivers it straight into the cargo hold, saving time and effort. Zhao Yi lifted the grapple out of its crate. Holding the anchor plate with both hands, he flipped it over and inspected the mechanical interface. It matched the interface of the Moment Light Cannon perfectly, fitting together seamlessly. He opened the ship's weapon mount system panel. The bottom mounting point displayed an idle status, alongside a blinking prompt. Detectable installable equipment. Precision towing grapple black, iron tier. Install? He tapped yes. The grapple vanished. A dull metallic locking sound echoed from outside the hull, followed by the faint hum of the mounting system running its self-diagnostics. A line of text popped up on the console screen. Bottom mounting point. Precision towing grapple installed. Current weapon. Mount configuration. Top. Moment Light Cannon silver tier / bottom. Precision towing grapple black, iron tier. A brand new aiming interface appeared on the console's auxiliary screen. The grapple covered a 120-degree conical firing zone beneath the ship with an effective range of 200 meters, vastly outperforming his combat suit's manipulator reach. The aiming interface even featured a rudimentary ballistic prediction function. Though far less sophisticated than dedicated fire control systems, it was more than sufficient for capturing stationary floating treasure chests. Seated at the console, Zhao Yi swiped across the aiming display several times. The grapple's firing angle adjusted nimbly in response to his inputs. The launcher protruded from beneath the hull and locked onto a piece of drifting debris outside the viewport. He did not actually fire. Debris was no treasure chest, and discharging the grapple would only waste energy. Still, he was pleased with its handling feel. He was about to open the 8th treasure chest when a new notification popped up on his console. It was a private communication sent by Suing Xue. This was not their usual one-on-one chat message. It was a group chat invitation. Suing Xue invites you to join group. District 10086 Elite Survivors Discussion Group. Current group members, 7. Awaiting your confirmation. Zhao Yi opened the member list. Suing Xue was the group owner. The remaining 6 names felt familiar. System announcements had rolled out multiple kill notifications right after the first kill event. These were the survivors who had scored the 2nd, 3rd, 4th through 10th recorded Starbeast kills. He had never met them, yet every inhabitant of the Novice Zone had seen their names broadcast across the server. In short, Suing Xue had assembled every person in this sector who had slain a Starbeast. He glanced again at the group name. District 10086 Elite Survivors Discussion Group. Elite? Suing Xue was quite the character, Zhao Yi thought. She had looted treasure chests quickly, earned 2nd place in the Starbeast kills to obtain bronze tier rewards, and now she had organized all the ranked survivors into a single group. If this were a survival contest, her strategy was plainly not merely to stay alive, but to organize others so everyone could survive better. Beneath the group invitation lay a private message from Suing Xue. Everyone in this group has secured at least 1 Starbeast kill in our sector. These are the genuine elite of District 10086. 7 members have joined so far. I need to discuss something highly important. There is too much information for private messages, which is why I created this group. You will likely be interested. Zhao Yi's finger hovered over the confirm button for 1 second, then tapped it. You have joined the group. The group interface unfolded across the console screen, displaying earlier chat history. The conversation had already started before his arrival. Wang Lei, what do you all make of this leaderboard? The system promised bonus rewards once the novice phase ends, but it never specified what those rewards will be. Chen Feng, whatever they give, we first need to live through the novice period. I just ran sensor sweeps. Star beasts above level 10 roam near the edge of the debris belt. Level 10, and my ship does not even carry a weapon. Liu, same for me. My first kill reward was a black iron chest that dropped spacesuit lining. That is all I got. Zhang Ming, spacesuit lining is decent. I got a multi-purpose combat knife, black iron tier. Better than nothing. Zhou Yang, at least you have killed star beasts. Most people out there will not even open their airlock. Then Zhao Yi entered the chat. The system posted a notice inside the group. Zhao Yi has joined the group. The chat window fell silent for roughly 2 seconds before activity resumed. Wang Lei, here comes the first kill legend. Chen Feng, greetings, top player. I was huddled inside my spacesuit trembling when your kill announcement popped up. I remember it vividly. Liu, Zhao Yi, what gear did you use for your first kill? Zhao Yi thought for a moment and typed a reply. Pure luck. That star beast crashed into my hull and knocked itself unconscious. I went EVA and finished it off with 1 strike. Another brief pause hung over the chat. Liu, Are you pulling our legs? Star beasts are not that easy to take down. Zhao Yi chose not to reply. He noticed the group atmosphere differed from what he had expected. There was no fawning, no bootlicking, none of the cheap pleas for handouts so common in public chat channels. Everyone spoke plainly, radiating quiet confidence in their own capabilities. Unsurprising. Anyone capable of killing a star beast early on, even one finished off by a lucky finishing blow, had ventured outside their ship, facing vacuum and alien creatures. Such people would not readily bow to others. Then Su Yingxue spoke. Su Yingxue, now that everyone is present, I will get straight to the point. I did not create this group for socializing. There is a concrete problem we need to discuss. With that message, she shared a sensor screenshot. It displayed her ship's detection panel with a scan radius of roughly 50 kilometers. Near the edge of the scanned area lay a region circled in bright red, densely marked by more than 100 red skull icons. Su Yingxue, I picked this up scanning beyond the outer edge of the debris belt, approximately 400 kilometers from our current position. These star beasts remain neutral for now. They will not attack us during novice protection. But what happens in 6.5 days? Silence descended across the group. Su Yingxue continued. The announcement clearly states the novice phase lasts 7 days. The system never guaranteed star beasts would stay neutral once protection expires. My assessment. The most probable outcome is every star beast turns hostile the instant protection ends. What will we use to defend ourselves then? Wang Lei, you are right. I fought a level 1 specimen. Even with a surprise ambush, I nearly died. Chen Feng, my own ship sensors have picked up similar star beast swarms, though in a different direction, roughly 300 kilometers out. Not as numerous as yours, around 50 odd individuals. Zhao Yi typed. Su Yingxue, do you have a solution? Su Yingxue, find a safe zone. She minimized the screenshot and posted a block of text. Su Yingxue, the debris belt we occupy is merely a small sector within Jupiter's orbit, designated by the system as Novice District 10086. But how vast is Jupiter's orbit? How enormous is the Jovian system? Beyond this debris belt lie the orbital paths of Io, Europa, Ganymede, the main ring, and the outer faint rings. These locations cannot all be high-level star beast nests. There must be zones with extremely low star beast density, or areas populated only by low-rank specimens. If we can locate such a place before protection expires and relocate there together, we stand a chance of avoiding total annihilation when the star beast hordes descend. A short pause followed, then messages poured in one after another. Wang Lei, makes sense. Instead of waiting to get overrun when protection ends, we should actively search for safe territory. I agree. Chen Feng, I agree as well, but how do we search? Each of our ships only scans 50 kilometers. The Jovian ring system alone spans hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Su Yingxue, we do not need to locate it in one go. We split up. Each of us explores outward along a separate bearing. Anyone detecting a safe zone shares its coordinates here. Each ship acts as a sensor node. Combined, our coverage far surpasses any single vessel. Lu Chang added, we can also compile our scan datasets. Every detection panel records scan logs. Post your findings to the group, and we can piece together a rough map of the debris belt. Zhang Ming, brilliant idea. I support this plan. Zhou Yang, count me in. Shared information maximizes our odds. We are all flying black, iron ships with basic equipment. Nobody is in a position to look down on anyone else. Su Yingxue, that settles it. From now onward, while salvaging treasure chests, each of us will push outward to explore. Immediately share coordinates if you discover an area with sparse star beasts or only low-level creatures. This is no charity. This is collective survival. Do not hoard critical data. Every member send a confirmation reply. Zhao Yi simply typed one word. Agreed. The discussion might have ended there, yet Su Yingxue posted another message. Su Yingxue, one more item. The player trading system will activate soon. I possess an extra silver tier treasure chest, a human origin weapon selection crate. The group erupted instantly. Wang Lei, wait, silver tier? Extra? Where did you get so many chests? Su Yingxue, that is none of your concern. I already own a bronze tier melee weapon. A second silver tier weapon would grant me minimal improvement. Rather than letting it sit unused, I will trade it for something more valuable. Curious, Zhao Yi asked, what are you asking in return? A minimum of 150 primary energy stones. Alternatively, equipment of equivalent tier, ship components such as shields, engines, fire, control systems. Any single silver tier ship component will suffice for the trade. Zhao Yi pondered. 150 primary energy stones was an enormous amount. However, Su Yingxue had offered a second option, 1 silver, tier ship component. He possessed the Moment Light Cannon, a silver, tier ship, mounted weapon. If he chose to, he could remove the Moment Light Cannon and exchange it for that silver human weapon crate. He would never do so, though. The Moment Light Cannon was his ship's primary combat asset. It drained considerable power, yet its firepower was formidable, the backbone of his vessel's offensive capability. Dismantling it for a silver, tier human weapon would leave his ship armed only with the black, iron grapple, completely stripped of long-range firepower. That trade made no sense. Still, with Finger of Evolution at his disposal, obtaining another silver, tier ship component might not prove insurmountable. The other group members responded with unvarnished realism. Wang Lei, 150 energy stones. I have opened 8 black, iron chests in total. I only got 8 stones. Chen Feng, I have even fewer, just 5. I am out. Su Yingxue, I have laid out my terms. Whether anyone can meet them is another matter. The chest stays in my possession. Anyone who gathers the required goods may reach out to trade at any time. This offer remains open for the full duration of the novice phase. Zhao Yi did not place a bid. Throughout most of the conversation, he had only read along, contributing very few lines. Su Yingxue impressed him. With a silver chest and a bronze melee weapon, her gear quality was second only to his own. Unless she had gotten absurdly lucky, she must possess an exceptionally powerful talent, much like himself. Furthermore, she demonstrated organizational skill, analytical thinking, and subtle manipulation, using that silver, tier chest to probe every member's resources within the group chat. She claimed the chest offered little benefit for her, not that she had zero use for it. Minimal improvement was not identical to completely unnecessary. Group conversation continued for a few more minutes. Wang Lei asked whether the system would keep issuing global announcements once novice protection ended. Others offered various guesses, arriving at no solid conclusion. Topics gradually fizzled out. Survivors began reporting their intended exploration bearings and negotiating how to divide search sectors. As the chat threatened to wrap up with routine confirmations, Zhao Yi typed a line into the input field. Zhao Yi, what do you suppose has become of Blue Planet? Silence fell across the group longer than at any prior moment. It was as though someone had thrown open a door everyone had been deliberately ignoring. Behind it lay a reality all of them strove not to think about. After a lengthy pause, Lu Chang replied. Lu Chang. Even at the closest orbital window, Blue Planet sits more than 600 million kilometers away from Jupiter. Our fastest black, iron, class ships travel at 1,200 kilometers per hour. Do the math on flight duration. Li Yu. More than 5,000 days, roughly 14 plus years. That is a straight line estimate. Real world travel requires orbital transfer windows, fuel reserves, mid-flight resupply. A black iron ship would exhaust its energy before completing even a tenth of the journey. Chen Feng. And suppose we could make it back? Blue Planet most likely hosts its own novice zones, 7-day protection periods, treasure chests, and star beasts, identical to here. Zhang Ming. My wife is still on Blue Planet. If the whole human race was pulled into this system, she is probably trapped in a novice zone too. I hope she rolled better loot than I did. Zhou Yang. My mother would not dare open a single chest. She struggles even with smart TV remotes. Zhang Ming. Do not say that, man. Another heavy silence followed. Zhao Yi gazed out the viewport toward the star-strewn cosmos he had only just started to appreciate. 600 million kilometers away rested Blue Planet, the home he had lived on for 20 years. Now an impassable void separated him from it. 80 billion people occupied that world. Every single human had been stuffed inside 6-meter-long metal capsules, adrift somewhere in space, facing the same brutal choice, survive or perish. All he could do was keep opening treasure chests here in Jupiter's orbital debris field. The group chat died amid that somber mood. Zhao Yi closed the group interface. He sat quietly at the console for a while, then reopened his detection panel and pulled up coordinates for the next set of treasure chests. No matter what had become of Blue Planet, no matter whether return was possible, his only viable path was to press forward. The ship thrusters reignited. The 6-meter vessel glided onward through the debris belt. With the grapple installed, treasure salvage efficiency improved dramatically. He no longer needed extravehicular activity, combat suits, or the tedious cycles of depressurizing and repressurizing the airlock. Lock onto targets via the detection panel, decelerate and hover, aim the bottom, mount a grapple, pull the trigger. The grapple head soared outward at 120 meters per second, trailing its fiber cable. For micro-attitude, control thrusters blazed with faint blue exhaust. The mechanism slammed precisely against the treasure chest shell. All four prongs clamped shut and locked. The mechanical arm reeled the load back steadily at 3 meters per second. The chest was hauled beneath the ship. The outer cargo bay hatch automatically slid open. The container slid inside, and hatches sealed. The whole operation took less than 20 seconds. Within half a day, he recovered 10 more black, iron chests. None yielded game, changing loot. He obtained rations, drinking water, basic tools, oxygen, regeneration supplies, and rolls of metal patch sheets for hull repairs. Black, iron chests delivered consistent supplies, yet truly exceptional drops remained rare. On the bright side, he would not worry about food and water for months to come. During this stretch, he encountered 2 star beasts. The first was a lone level, 1 micro, dust sucker, roughly fist-sized. It clung to a rock fragment in the debris belt, filtering organic molecules out of cosmic dust through countless microscopic pores across its body. Zhao E. Triple checked his sensor readings, still baffled this creature bore an official level rating. He did not even deploy the grapple. He maneuvered within 50 meters, suited up, performed an EVA, and struck it with 1 blow. A cold system prompt flashed. Micro, dust sucker level 1 eliminated. Experience +5. The second encounter proved slightly more challenging. A level 3 plasma jellyfish, far larger than the void drifter he had fought previously. Its umbrella-shaped body measured over 3 meters across. Dozens of thin, faintly glowing tentacles dangled beneath its translucent canopy. It drifted in open space at the debris belt fringe with no cover to exploit, ruling out ambush tactics. Zhao Yi circled twice and resolved to test the moment light cannon's destructive power. He positioned his ship directly above its canopy, its sensory blind spot. All tentacles hung downward, with sensory organs concentrated along the umbrella's rim. The moment light cannon charged to maximum output and fired. The shot landed true. The plasma jellyfish instantly vaporized into superheated plasma. Plasma jellyfish level 3 eliminated. Experience +20. When the creature dissipated, 1 black, iron chest, and 3 primary energy stones materialized in its place. Zhao Yi activated the grapple and pulled them aboard. Energy expenditure had been substantial, yet combat gains offset the cost. He checked his experience bar, current level, 1 experience, 37 out of 163 points required for next level. He dismissed the experience readout and continued onward. A faint signal flickered along the detection panel perimeter, 48 kilometers distant, on a bearing separate from prior treasure clusters. Weak signal strength indicated a small, volume object. He adjusted heading. His ship cruised toward the source. 10 minutes later, the target became visible to the naked eye. Another solitary black, iron treasure chest, slowly spinning beside a basketball-sized rock fragment floating in the debris field. Zhao Yi aimed and pulled the grapple trigger. 20 seconds afterward, the chest slid safely into his cargo hold. Before he could open it, another alert chimed on his console. A cold, synthesized voice echoed inside the cabin. Finger of Evolution daily usage count has reset. Usable charges today. 3 out of 3. Zhao Yi stared at the panel where the number 3 lit up once more, his mood lifting. The Finger of Evolution was his greatest trump card. It could upgrade black, iron gear to bronze, bronze to silver, and silver to gold, 3 times per day. He glanced down at the unopened crate inside the cargo hold, then at the minimized panel for the selectable silver tier treasure chest in the corner of the console. Raising his head, his gaze swept across every piece of equipment in the cabin. Zhao Yi thought it over carefully and took out the Deep Space Hunter combat suit. This gold-grade gear was the best item he possessed. Its strength boost let him perform extravehicular operations with effortless ease. If he could evolve it one more time, gold would advance to emerald, and emerald to diamond. Even a single rank up would double its stats. Once he exited the ship, he might well be able to tear apart star beasts with his bare hands. Before attempting that, however, he wanted to test something else. Zhao Yi laid the combat suit flat on the console and activated the Finger of Evolution. A line of system text popped up. This piece of equipment has already been enhanced by the Finger of Evolution. Each item may only receive 1 evolution enhancement. Repeated evolution is not possible. Zhao Yi stared at the red warning text for 2 seconds before closing the interface. He felt a flicker of disappointment, yet it was hardly unexpected. If a single piece of gear could be upgraded infinitely, he could simply keep using the Finger of Evolution on 1 item. Within days, he would forge divine equipment surpassing the system's maximum rank. The system would never leave such an obvious loophole. The true way to use the Finger of Evolution was not to pour all upgrades onto one piece of gear. Instead, it required diversified investment. Raise each core piece of equipment to a reasonable tier, then rely on synergy between them to boost overall combat power. He set the combat suit aside. It had only been an experiment. Success would have been a massive gain, and failure carried no real loss. His attention shifted to the selectable silver tier treasure chest in the corner of the console. He opened the panel, and the selection interface reappeared. Weapon category, armor category, tool category, special category. More than a dozen options lined up, each accompanied by a short descriptive note. Zhao Yi's finger hovered back and forth across the choices twice. The weapon category was the safest pick. Paired with the strength bonus from his combat suit, he would hold a solid advantage in close quarters combat outside the ship. Armor category was also viable. A new piece of protective gear would further elevate his already strong defenses and drastically improve survivability. But his finger landed on the fourth option, special category, purely out of curiosity. He lacked neither weapons, armor, nor tools. His ship was equipped with a matrix light cannon and grappling hooks, and he wore his gold combat suit alongside basic survival supplies. Under these circumstances, he wanted to find out exactly how special the system's special category truly was. A confirmation dialog box popped up. Confirm selection of special category for the selectable silver tier treasure chest. This choice cannot be reversed. He tapped confirm. Silver light burst above the console. When the radiance faded, a rectangular metal storage case sat before him. It was roughly the size of a desktop computer tower. Its shell was silver, aluminum alloy, with black rubber bumpers reinforcing every corner. A carrying handle and push type latch sat on its front face. Zhao Yi unlatched it and lifted the lid. Gray anti-static foam lined the interior, precision, cut to form a recess perfectly shaped for the item held within. Resting in the hollow was a fist-sized spherical robot. Its outer shell was assembled from countless tiny hexagonal metal plates. Two circular lens modules on its front resembled eyes. A ring of faint blue indicator lights encircled the lenses, pulsing slowly in a breathing rhythm. Three annular slits wrapped around the sphere's midsection, revealing dense arrays of miniature mechanical components deep within. Beside the robot lay a thin metallic instruction sheet printed with text and a still, loading display screen. Zhao Yi picked up the sheet, and a floating information panel instantly materialized. Intelligent Assistant Robot Silver Tier Type Special Auxiliary Equipment Functions Autonomous Navigation Support Basic Combat Assistance Detection and Early Warning Simple Task Execution Combat Stats Strength 3 Agility 5 Defense 2 Intelligence 8 Description: a spherical robot equipped with rudimentary artificial intelligence. It can monitor your starship, assist in fights, scan surroundings, and open containers. Boasting an intelligence stat of 8, it outthinks most survivors. While its combat capacity is limited, it can handle a wide variety of minor tasks. Notice, this unit's AI personality is uncustomized. Upon initial activation, it will generate a unique personality adapted to its operator's behavioral patterns. Zhao Yi lifted the spherical robot out of the foam recess. It was surprisingly light, its metal shell cool and smooth beneath his palm, fitting perfectly in one hand. He turned it over and located a tiny recessed activation button on its base. When his fingertip pressed it, he felt a faint vibration. The annular indicator lights on the sphere's front shifted from dim blue to soft white. Both circular lenses lit up simultaneously and swiveled to fix on Zhao Yi's face. The sphere hummed gently in his palm, and a clear, youthful voice emanated from its built speaker. Intelligent Assistant System Initialization Complete. Greetings. I am your dedicated assistant. Please assign me a name, or a default serial number will be allocated automatically. Zhao Yi stared down at the sphere in his hand. This silver, great intelligent assistant had mediocre combat stats, yet its 8-point intelligence stat intrigued him. He did not even know his own intelligence value, so this robot's processing capacity was likely superior to his own. It would make a fine helper. At the very least, he would no longer need to manually operate detection panels. He was about to assign it a casual name and stow it away to continue opening crates, when a thought struck him. This newly acquired silver-grade piece of equipment had never undergone evolution. He set the spherical robot on the console and activated the Finger of Evolution. Finger of Evolution activated. Target: Intelligent Assistant Robot Silver Tier Evolution Tier Progression. 3 stages: Silver, Gold, Emerald, Diamond. Joy surged through Zhao Yi. He had once again drawn the rare 3-stage evolution. Prismatic light streamed forth from his fingertip. Multicolored evolutionary energy coiled like a winding, luminous serpent around the spherical robot resting on the console. Golden light engulfed the sphere entirely. Its shell shuddered violently amid a clattering chorus of colliding metal parts. Internal mechanisms underwent invisible yet tangible transformation. The sphere expanded in size. The edges of its hexagonal plating glowed, and searing white light seeped out through its seams. The swirling prismatic energy exploded outwards. Where the robot had sat now stood a humanoid biological construct. She stood a little over 1.6 meters tall, with a slender yet streamlined physique. Form, fitting silver, gray nanomaterial clung to her body, flexible and supple in appearance. Her features were exquisitely defined. Her skin bore a cool tone somewhere between ivory and pale gray. Short hair floated gently in zero gravity, each strand distinct. Pale, blue irises surrounded slightly dilated pupils, lending her an innocent, vacant gaze. She leapt lightly down from the console, bare feet touching the metal deck, then dropped to one knee. She bowed her head, placing silver, gray palms flat over her chest, shoulders slightly drawn inward. "Master." The familiar voice remained, smooth and perfectly enunciated, now sounding nearly human. She lifted her head. Pale, blue eyes locked straight onto Zhao Yi as her lips parted to reveal neat, even teeth. Bio Intelligent Unit Serial Number 10086-000-521, fully activated. Zhao Yi froze. He glanced at his right hand, index finger still extended from using the ability, then back toward the woman kneeling before him. Surprise was not his first reaction. Instead, an odd sense of familiarity washed over him. Her polite, formal speech pattern reminded him strongly of an AI he had interacted with before. That courteous, well-mannered cadence gave him the odd impression she might next offer to compose poetry or note that a topic could carry contentious viewpoints. That AI had been named Doubao. "Stand up," Zhao Yi told her. Right away. The bio-intelligent unit rose fluidly, her movements entirely natural, devoid of mechanical stiffness. "Master, what would you have me do?" "I can pilot the starship, scan star sectors, manage cargo holds, prepare meals, tend to daily chores, and even dance, though the cabin floor is somewhat cramped for that performance." Zhao Yi's eyes widened slightly. The resemblance to that familiar AI grew stronger. He pulled up her status panel. A large semi-transparent interface unfolded before him, noticeably bigger than any equipment description he had seen previously. Across its top, in diamond-colored font, was a rank label he had never encountered. Bio, Intelligent Unit, Diamond, Tier, Type, Special Auxiliary Equipment, Combat Unit, Independently Level, Capable Entity. Binding Status, Bound to Zhao Yi Non. Transferable, Cannot be lost. Current level, 1 health, 1000 energy, 1500 strength, 12 agility, 15 defense, 10 intelligence, 16. Core capabilities, Autonomous Navigation Master. Rank, Combat Coordination Master. Rank, Detection Early Warning Expert. Rank, Task Execution Master. Rank, Linguistics Diplomacy Expert. Rank. Special Traits, Absolute Loyalty. This unit holds a permanent 100% loyalty rating toward its bonded operator. It cannot be turned, manipulated, or mentally altered in any fashion. Actions contradicting the operators will are physically impossible for it to perform. Stellar Endurance. Granted free movement across the void. Requires no spacesuit to operate and fight within vacuum environments. Description: what you possess is not merely a robot, but a sentient, independently level, capable bio-intelligent being bound to you by unbreakable loyalty. Her physiology and power draw from the stars themselves. To her, outer space is not a hostile barrier, but a cradle. Zhao Yi read through the panel twice. Even at level 1, this bio-intelligent unit possessed 12 strength, 15 agility, and 16 intelligence without any gear equipped. He closed the interface and studied the docile, looking bio-intelligent unit standing in the cabin. Bare-footed, clad in her silver, gray nanoweave suit, her short hair drifting weightlessly. A gentle, cheerful smile lingered on her face. "Do you have a name, other than your serial number?" Zhao Yi asked. "I do not yet," she replied brightly. "The serial number is only factory configuration. My name is for my master to decide. You may call me anything you wish, Xiaohua, Xiaomei, Zuohua, Taizhu. Though I might have a tiny personal preference against Taizhu, my master's choice is final regardless." Zhao Yi considered for a moment. "From now on you will be called Doubao." She tilted her head, curiosity flickering across her expression. Doubao? What sort of name is that? It refers to a type of steamed bun. Soft outer dough wrapped around sweet red bean paste, round and sweet. Doubao processed this for 1 second, then nodded earnestly. Very well, my name is Doubao. I am round and sweet, and filled with red bean paste. No, wait. I am not food. I am my master's assistant. I like this name very much. Thank you, master. Observing her sincere demeanor, Zhao Yi recalled the special trait listed on her panel. Absolute loyalty. Permanent 100% loyalty. Immune to all mental interference. Any action opposing his will was physically unexecutable for her. Doubao. I am here, master. She stood ramrod, straight, eyes fixed unblinkingly on him. Are you truly absolutely loyal? Naturally, master. It is hard, coded deep within my genetic programming. Zhao Yi paused briefly, then smiled. A diamond-tier biointelligent unit, starship pilot, combat partner, expert scanner. Her habit of addressing him as master felt so genuine that he could not tell whether it stemmed from genuine attachment or hardwired obedience logic. Most likely a mixture of both. You don't need to call me master every time. You may use my given name. Understood, master. Doubao nodded earnestly, then added, I think I shall keep calling you master. It carries proper ceremonial weight, and I am your unit after all. Using your personal name would feel overly distant. As she spoke, she leaned gently toward him, hands clasped behind her back, weight shifting lightly onto the balls of her feet, her movements utterly natural. Zhao Yi chose not to press the naming convention further. He gestured toward the console. You said you can pilot the starship? Master rank proficiency. Doubao stepped quickly to the console. Her bare feet made barely audible sounds against the metal floor. Leaning over, she rested her palms on the console edge. Her fingers streaked across the controls so fast Zhao Yi could only perceive blurred motion. I can reprogram the detection system to maximum sensitivity, boosting its ability to distinguish treasure chest signatures from Star Beast signatures by 30%. The thrusters are currently set for manual control, but I can take over automated navigation. You need only input target coordinates and leave the rest to me. I reviewed your storage system just now. Its sorting logic is quite primitive. I have reorganized everything into 7 priority tiers sorted by usage frequency and urgency. I have also resorted all your previously looted supplies. Rations occupy level 1, tools level 2, ship maintenance consumables level 3. Mid-sentence, she twisted her head toward Zhao Yi and blinked. A strange, unreadable nuance crossed her features. Master, there is a mannequin stored in the corner of the cargo hold. It landed face-down wedged between canned goods and water containers in an awkward position. Should I reposition it? Zhao Yi's mouth twitched. No need. Very well. Doubao turned back to the console. I have moved it down to the lowest storage compartment and secured it with spare sealing tape, so it will no longer tumble about whenever the ship changes velocity. Zhao Yi watched her back, satisfied. Within mere seconds, she had reprogrammed detection, activated auto-navigation, restructured cargo storage, and secured a misplaced mannequin to stop it sliding around. That was what 16 points of intelligence looked like, processing speed and operational efficiency far exceeding any human. Working alongside her at the console felt as though an expert system operator sat beside him. Fast, precise, stable, a world apart from his own clumsy manual operations. Detection system recalibration complete. Doubao straightened and turned back toward him, hands resting loosely at her sides. Master, 2 black iron treasure chests have been located within a 10-kilometer radius. Their bearings are locked. Approximately 18 kilometers due east, a level 2 Star Beast signature is on slow patrol. Would you prefer collecting treasure chests first, or engaging hostiles? Zhao Yi considered his options. His recent battle had familiarized him with void combat, so he could afford to take slightly greater risks. Mark the region with the highest local Star Beast density, he instructed. Doubao tilted her head. You intend to seek combat? Yes. Zhao Yi walked beside her and pulled up the starship's subsystem panel. Where Star Beasts gather, treasure chests are abundant. Defeating Star Beasts yields energy crystals and equipment drops. My new survivor protection period still has 6 days remaining. If I only farm black iron chests, I will never gather the 370 energy points I need even by next year. 7 subsystems lined up on screen, all black iron tier. Energy, life support, propulsion, weaponry, shields, detection, cabin systems. Upgrade buttons sat beside each entry, every one demanding energy points. His current total, 13 points. Not even enough to raise the energy system from black iron to bronze, which required 50 points for a single rank up. And with Dou Bao on his side, his combat potential had increased dramatically. Pull up the detection skin data, Dou Bao. On it, a star map appeared on the detection panel. Dou Bao had reorganized all nearby star beast signatures, marked by red skull icons sorted into low density, medium density, and high density zones. 30 kilometers east-southeast lies a high density zone. Her fingertip tapped a spot on the star map, zooming the region into view. 17 star beast signatures detected, ranging from level 1 to level 4. They are fairly dispersed. We should not draw the attention of the entire group at once. What about treasure chest markers in this zone? Marking them now, her fingers flew across the screen, and 11 teal square icons materialized. 11 chests total, 9 black iron, 1 bronze tier, and 1 signature too distant to identify precisely, though its signal strength indicates at minimum bronze rank. Zhao Yi studied the star map. Treasure chests and star beast signatures were tightly interwoven. Packs of star beasts hovered beside floating containers, as if the system deliberately placed rewards amid danger. Plot an advance route starting along the outer perimeter. Prioritize isolated low-level star beasts. Avoid any level 4 or higher targets. I aim to reach level 2 first. We will not overextend. Receive. Dou Bao manipulated the console rapidly. The navigation system generated a winding flight path cutting through the outer edge of the high-density zone. Every waypoint noted projected enemy encounter points and fallback escape vectors. Route finalized. Estimated total mission duration, 1 hour 20 minutes. 5 projected engagements, all against isolated level 1 through 3 opponents. Zhao Yi glanced over the plotted course and nodded. Plans devised with 16 intelligence points were vastly superior to anything he could manually work out. Depart. Acknowledged. Dou Bao pulled out a foldable seat, apparently assembled while organizing cargo earlier, and sat before the controls, gripping the joysticks. Autonomous navigation activated. Destination, outer fringe of the high-density Star Beast zone. Estimated arrival, for minutes. The starship thrusters ignited. The 6-meter vessel arced through the debris field, accelerating toward the east-southeast heading. For minutes later, the ship decelerated and held position. Zhao Yi peered out the viewport. This sector differed sharply from the debris field he had occupied previously. Treasure chests floated in far higher numbers, bronze glimmers glinting amid starlight. Between them, star beast shapes drifted through the darkness. The nearest hostile lay less than 200 meters directly ahead, a level 2 plasma drifter. Similar in size to the void drifter he had killed before, it possessed a spindle-shaped body enveloped by a faint, glowing blue plasma membrane. Master, this plasma drifter's plasma sheath emits weak electromagnetic pulses, Dou Bao reported from the console. If it makes contact with the hull, it may interfere with detection sensors. It should be eliminated before it closes within 100 meters. Zhao Yi was already suiting up. Plating of the Deep Space Hunter combat suit locked into place across his frame, neuroresponsive fibers tightening. The familiar 20-fold strength boost flooded through his body. He entered the airlock. Dou Bao, you have control of the Matrix Light Cannon. Understood. Matrix Light Cannon switched to precision manual aiming mode. Her fingers danced across the weapons panel. Internal pressure vented. The outer hatch snapped open. Zhao Yi stepped out into the void. His suit's vector thrusters ignited, propelling him toward the plasma drifter in combat posture. Sensing his approach, the creature unfurled for fin-like appendages. Its plasma membrane blazed from pale blue to blinding white, its defensive response. Superheated plasma would burn threats drawing too near. But the gold-grade combat suit could withstand temperatures up to 1200 degrees Celsius. This level 2 drifter's surface heat barely reached 200 degrees. Zhao Yi did not bother evading. He charged straight through the plasma sheath, reached out, and seized the drifter's solid central core in one hand. The full strength of his combat suit unleashed. Squelch. The plasma drifter's body crumpled and burst beneath his grip. Blue bodily fluids dispersed as floating droplets in vacuum, and its plasma membrane flickered out completely. Plasma drifter level 2 eliminated. Plus 8 experience points. Zhao Yi shook debris off his gauntlet and turned toward the next target. Something clung atop a treasure chest. Shelled sucker, level 3. Half a meter in length, it resembled a tailless scorpion. 6 overlapping armored plates covered its back. 8 segmented limbs wrapped tightly around a black iron chest. Its feeding mouthparts gnawed at the metal seams, already denting the casing. That chest belongs to me, Zhao Yi thought. He activated his thrusters, streaking forward in a shimmering golden blur, fist cocked. Detecting danger, the shelled sucker launched itself off the chest. Its defensive plates splayed open, revealing masses of writhing, barbed feeding tendrils beneath. It lunged straight for Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi did not dodge. He raised his left forearm, letting the gold-grade armor plate absorb the creature's full-force charge. 8 arthropod limbs clamped onto his left arm at once, their tentacles lashing violently against his faceplate, producing a shrill scraping sound. Zhao Yi's right fist surged upward, slamming straight into the soft abdominal tissue exposed when the creature's carapace splayed open, a blow delivering 21.6 points of strength. The carapace sucker's body arched sharply. Its 6 shell plates burst like crushed biscuits, dark blue bodily fluids and visceral fragments spraying out through the cracks. The 8 arthropod limbs twitched twice, then went limp and drifted away slowly in the vacuum. Carapace sucker level 3 eliminated. Experience plus 12. The treasure chest that had been lying nearby floated intact in its original spot, a ring of bite marks etched across its lid. Zhao Yi spoke over the communication channel. Dou Bao, retrieve the chest. Received. A grappling hook shot out from the underside of the ship, catching the treasure chest precisely as the mechanical arm hauled it steadily back. The iron treasure chest is secured in Storage Master. Level 3 signatures are approaching fast. 2 targets, 300 meters away at the 11 o'clock direction. Zhao Yi lifted his gaze. 2 star beasts flew straight toward him, one trailing close behind the other. Twin-headed shrieker, level 3. He had never encountered this species before. Its body was slender like an eel, but its cranial region split into 2 separate heads. Each head bore a circular maw lined with countless fine, sharp teeth. They advanced in a spiraling flight pattern. The 2 heads took turns emitting silent shrieks as they rotated. No sound carried through the vacuum, yet the combat suit sensors picked up intense infrasonic pulses. The infrasound pierced the suit's armor plating and assaulted his vestibular system inside the inner ear directly. Zhao Yi's vision wavered, and his reaction speed lagged by half a beat. The 2 twin-headed shriekers clearly fought in perfect coordination. One dove down from above and forward, while the other circled around to his rear. The infrasonic pulses originating from both directions overlapped through interference, doubling the dizzying sensation. Dou Bao, provide support. Already working on it. A hint of urgency tinged Dou Bao's voice. Their infrasound frequency ranges from 4 to 7 Hz. I'm using the ship's detection array to trace the phase of their sonic emissions. Got it, Master. There is a 0.1 second phase gap in their infrasonic pulse cycle every 3 seconds. Strike during that window. Zhao Yi offered no reply. He needed to focus every ounce of his concentration to resist the dizziness. 3 seconds. He silently counted the rhythm as waves of infrasonic pressure crashed over him in steady surges. Moments later, the vertigo vanished in an instant. The combat suit's vector thrusters ignited at maximum power the very second the gap arrived. For pale blue exhaust trails carved bright arcs through the vacuum. He launched forward like a cannonball, slipping through the narrow gap between the 2 converging twin-headed shriekers. Then he twisted mid-flight to face his pursuers, stretching out both hands. His left hand seized the left head of the foremost shrieker, his right hand gripped its right head. Channeling his 21.6 points of strength, he pulled outward with brutal force. The twin-headed shrieker was literally torn apart into 2 separate heads. The rupture stretched all the way down to the midsection of its torso. Dark blue bodily fluids and soft tissue streamed behind it in a long drifting ribbon within the vacuum. Twin-headed shrieker level 3 eliminated. Experience plus 10. The remaining shrieker showed no instinct to flee after its companion's death. It banked sharply behind Zhao Yi, both heads spreading their circular maws as the frequency of its infrasonic pulses spiked. Zhao Yi was ready this time. Within 0.03 seconds, the combat suit's neural response fibers transmitted his turning command to the vector thrusters. All 4 nozzles realigned simultaneously, allowing him to execute an inertia, defying sharp pivot on the spot. He charged straight toward the shrieker. Both of its heads lunged forward to bite at the same time. Zhao Yi did not dodge. His right fist drove straight into the circular maw of one head, piercing through its entire oral cavity and bursting out the back of the skull. Next, he bent his elbow, using the shrieker's head impaled on his arm as a fulcrum. He swung the creature's entire body in a wide semicircle like a whip through the void. The star beast's physiology could not withstand such extreme G-forces, and its spinal column snapped into 3 segments mid-swing. Twin-headed shrieker level 3 eliminated. Experience plus 12. Zhao Yi tore the mangled corpse from his arm and discarded it, drawing a deep breath. Master, directly overhead. Level 4, No, level 10. It's accelerating rapidly. Doubao's voice cut through suddenly, edged with alarm. Zhao Yi's heart skipped a beat. A level 10 star beast? He looked upward. An unfamiliar creature was diving straight down toward him. Rift Eel, a level 10. It dwarfed the combined size of the 4 previous star beasts. Estimated length exceeded 4 meters. Its flattened body resembled a squashed hair tail, edged by undulating, wave-like membranous fins. No eyes marked its head, only a vertical, gaping maw stretching from the crown down to its throat. Countless luminescent glands inside the opening flickered at an extremely rapid frequency. It stretched its jaws wide as it descended. The combat suit sensors blared a shrill warning. Concentrated charged particles were gathering within the Rift Eel's maw, forming an oncoming plasma breath. Doubao, activate the Matrix-like cannon. Target locked. Doubao's tone shifted abruptly to focused calm. Target relative velocity, 87 meters per second, dive angle, 62 degrees. Lead trajectory calculated. Master, the interior of its mouth reaches peak temperature when fully open, and the upper jaw is its structurally weakest point. I recommend targeting that area. Fire at the upper jaw. Matrix light cannon charging. Firing. Pale blue light flared atop the ship. Hexagonal grid patterns flickered across the crystal lens inside the cannon barrel. A brilliant rectangular beam of blue-white energy shot forth, traveling in an unwavering straight line through the vacuum. The beam struck true inside the Rift Eel's open maw, dead center on its upper jaw. The plasma breath building inside the creature's mouth was trapped before it could be unleashed. The Matrix light beam pierced through the upper jaw and exited the back of its skull, blooming into a cloud of blue-white energy residue behind its head. The Rift Eel's body arched violently, its membranous fins thrashing wildly. Every luminescent gland within its maw went dark. Yet it was not dead. A level 10 star beast could survive a direct beam through the skull. It shook its head, reoriented itself, and split its jaws open once more. The concentration of charged particles was even higher than before, the glowing glands flickering so quickly they blurred into a continuous glow. Master, it can withstand one more shot. Anxiety was plain in Doubao's voice. Hold the cannon. I will handle it. Zhao Yi engaged his thrusters at full output. All 4 vector nozzles of the combat suit erupted with blazing pale blue flame. He surged toward the Rift Eel at an acceleration of 2.5 gs. At that exact instant, the Rift Eel unleashed its plasma breath. A mass of blue-white plasma surged forward, hurtling directly toward Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi did not slow down. He activated his primary force field shield a split second before the plasma mass collided with his faceplate. A 2-meter wide, 2.5-meter tall energy barrier unfurled before him. The pale gold force field slammed head on into the blue-white plasma. Shield value plummeted rapidly. 200, 170, 150. The plasma mass dissipated. The shield value stabilized at 140, the single strike draining 60 shield points in an instant. Zhao Yi charged straight through the fading remnants of the plasma breath, closing the distance to the Rift Eel. Before it could open its jaws a third time, he interlaced his fists, raised them high overhead, and struck down with every ounce of strength. The blow landed where eyes would normally sit. Though the creature possessed none, this region held the thinnest section of its skull. Crack! The sound of fracturing bone traveled through the combat suit's bone conduction sensors into Zhao Yi's ears. The Rift Eel's body stiffened completely, then went limp from head to tail. Its membranous fins ceased movement. The luminescent glands inside its maw flickered one final time before fading permanently. Rift Eel level 10 eliminated. Experience plus 95. Zhao Yi lowered his fists and hovered beside the eel's corpse, gasping for breath. The combat suit's life support system automatically increased oxygen flow. Cool, fresh air filled his lungs. 2 notification chimes rang out almost simultaneously. The first was his personal alert. Experience threshold reached. Level up. Current level, 1-2. Health, 100-200. Energy, 100-200. All attributes plus 2. Free attribute points acquired. May second be allocated to any of the 4 core attributes. A far more powerful surge of vitality welled up against the suit's inner lining, stacking alongside the stat bonuses granted by his equipment. The second was a regional broadcast. A cold synthetic tone echoed across every channel. At the same moment, the same line popped up on the communication panel of every ship within the 10086 Novice Zone. Regional announcement. Survivor Zhao Yi is the first to achieve a level breakthrough, becoming the zone's first level 2 survivor. Reward. One selectable silver treasure chest. Zhao Yi floated in the void, staring at the silver treasure chest materializing before him, and smiled. Within the elite group chat, messages exploded instantly. Wang Lei. Chen Feng, level 2? I'm only halfway to the next level. Li Yu. I haven't even hit the halfway mark. How did he level so fast? Zhang Ming. Champion, be honest, did you clear out an entire debris field? Zhou Yang. Buddy, you got room for an extra crew member, Iron Tier variety. Su Yingshua's message appeared last. Su Yingxue, congratulations on another selectable silver treasure chest. What category did you pick for the last one? Before Zhao Yi could reply, Doubao's voice cut into the group channel somehow. Master chose the special category last time and got an incredibly capable intelligent assistant. That's me. The group fell silent for 2 seconds. Wang Lei, who was that? Chen Feng. Voice came through Zhao Yi's channel. A woman. Li Yu, a female voice. I thought he was alone on his ship. Zhang Ming. Wait a second. Can the special category treasure chest produce an individual? Zhou Yang. Champion. Is that an AI assistant or a companion? Doubao spoke again, tone earnest. I'll give you a straightforward answer. I am Master's devoted intelligent assistant, not a companion. That said, I can learn new capabilities if Master requires. I pick up skills extremely quickly. Another 2 seconds of silence descended, followed by a fresh flood of messages. Zhao Yi massaged his temples and typed into the channel. We can talk later. I need to collect the spoils first. He minimized the group chat window, glancing at the silver treasure chest and the scattered energy stones and loot lying beside the 5 drifting star beast corpses. The grappling hooks were already hard at work. As Doubao oversaw salvage operations, she hummed an unfamiliar tune over the comms channel. Zhao Yi secured the silver treasure chest and turned, flying back toward his ship. On the return trip, Zhao Yi glanced down at his hands. A few droplets of dark blue star beast fluid stained the forearm plating of his deep space hunter combat suit, slowly evaporating into tiny mist clouds in the vacuum. He flexed his fingers, faint clicking sounds emanating from his joints. He raised his left arm to inspect the armor plating. The 8 limbs of the carapace sucker had scraped against it relentlessly earlier, yet not a single scratch marred the surface. The gold tier combat suit boasted 85 defense points. Against low-rank star beasts, the mismatch was akin to striking an iron plate with tofu. The only damage he sustained during the entire fight came from the unexpected level 10 Rift Eel, whose plasma breath depleted 30% of his shield. Shields only required 15 minutes of recharging to restore fully, and the battle ended long before that window elapsed. That was the advantage of superior equipment tier. Shortly after, Zhao Yi boarded his ship. Hissing noises came from the pressure airlock's pressure relief valve as the outer hatch sealed and air flooded the chamber. Zhao Yi opened the inner airtight door and stepped into the main cabin. A faint scent of ozone lingered, left behind when his suit's shield overloaded. The smell was not unpleasant. It carried a reassuring tang of combat. He pressed the chest armor latches of his combat suit, and the plating split open along his back. As he climbed out of the armor, he felt the neural response fibers brushing lightly across his skin, like thousands of fine bristles releasing their tension all at once. Doubao, all loot recovered? Everything secured. Doubao hopped down from the control console, landing barefoot. She stood straight with both hands behind her back. The 5-star beast dropped 3 iron treasure chests and 4 primary energy stones. I also recovered 4 additional chests I located independently. Hand everything over. Unpack, sort, and store all items. On it, Doubao turned toward the cargo hold, then glanced back. Her pale blue eyes blinked. Master, will the quality of drops from the plasma swimmer you crushed and the twin-headed shrieker you tore apart be lower because of how violently they were defeated? Zhao Yi considered it. I doubt it. The system only registers a confirmed kill, not the manner of death. Doubao nodded in satisfaction. Good to hear. It would be boring if Master had to fight more gently from now on. With that, she squatted beside the cargo hold and began opening the chests. Zhao Yi watched her from behind. Her silver, gray-fitted suit outlined the subtle curve of her shoulder blades, and her short white hair drifted gently in the low-gravity environment. She worked swiftly yet methodically. After opening each chest, she sorted every item into distinct piles, rations alongside other rations, tools with tools, energy stones grouped together. Her sorting logic differed entirely from Zhao Yi's own, yet proved far more efficient, a trait he had already witnessed when she organized the cargo hold previously. Zhao Yi shifted his gaze away from Doubao and fixed his attention on the silver, glinting metal chest resting on the control console. The selectable silver treasure chest. The last time he obtained one, he chose the special category, which evolved into Doubao, a diamond tier synthetic intelligence. Her combat prowess, support capabilities, and cognitive capacity far outmatched equipment of equivalent tier, paired with the unique trait of absolute loyalty. This transformation was the result of 3 successive upgrades from the evolution fingers. Still, judged purely by the value of a silver treasure chest, the special category possessed the highest potential ceiling. What should he choose this time? Zhao Yi opened the selection panel, revealing more than a dozen options lined up in order. His gaze drifted back and forth between the weapon category and armor category before settling on weapon. He already owned the Deep Space Hunter combat suit, gold, tier, with 85 defense points. The armor's defensive capabilities were excessive for the current novice zone, as proven in the recent battle. But his weaponry? The Matrix Light Cannon was powerful, a silver, tier energy weapon dealing 120 to 280 damage, capable of penetrating low and mid-tier shields with an effective range of 1,200 meters when mounted on the ship. It had 2 critical flaws, however. First, firing once while ship-mounted consumed 0.2 energy units, a steep cost given his limited energy reserves. Second, it was a ranged weapon. Once Star Beasts closed into melee range, his viable window to attack shrank drastically. He experienced this limitation while fighting the Rift Eel. The Matrix Light Beam pierced its upper jaw yet failed to deliver an instant kill. If he had wielded a melee weapon at that moment, he could have finished it with a single strike instead of charging forward to crush its skull with his fists. Battles ahead would grow far deadlier. He planned to venture into regions with denser Star Beast populations and face higher-level opponents. His fists alone would no longer suffice. Zhao Yi tapped the option, Human Weapon Category Silver, Tier. Confirm selection of the Human Weapon Category Selectable Silver Treasure Chest? This choice cannot be reversed. He confirmed. A burst of silver light erupted above the console. Once the radiance faded, a blade rested quietly within the chest. The blade stretched roughly 80 centimeters long, with a straight spine and a gently curved cutting edge. Its overall shape blended elements of a Tang Dao and tactical straight sword. The hilt was forged from dark gray composite material wrapped in circular anti-slip texture. Symmetrical titanium, gray metal plates formed the crossguard. A matte silver coating covered the blade surface, casting frigid glints under the cabin lights. A floating description panel appeared. High-density alloy battle sword silver, tier. Type, melee cold weapon damage, 40 to 50 durability, 250/250 special effect, high-frequency cleave. An internal oscillator built into the blade raises vibration to ultrasonic frequencies upon activation, boosting cutting efficiency by 200%. Draws power from a miniature energy cell within the hilt. A full charge enables continuous operation for 15 minutes. Description, a rugged blade. The difference between carving through Star Beast hides and chopping vegetables depends entirely on the strength behind each swing. When active, the high-frequency mode can slice cleanly through the carapace of shelled Star Beasts. Avoid striking extremely hard surfaces, as chipping the edge comes with costly repair fees. Zhao Yi lifted the alloy battle sword from the chest and hefted it. The weight felt perfectly balanced, the center of mass positioned 2 centimeters forward of the crossguard, ideal for single-handed strikes. He pressed the high-frequency oscillation switch on the side of the hilt. A faint, thin hum emanated from the blade, and a pale blue shimmer spread across the matte silver coating, ionization triggered by ultrasonic vibration interacting with surrounding air. It was a fine blade, yet not fine enough. Zhao Yi gripped the sword in his right hand, extended the fingers of his left, and pressed his palm flat against the blade. Evolution fingers, activate. Prismatic light spread along the sword from hilt to tip, wrapping the entire weapon in layered colorful membranes as the blade shuddered violently. A notification panel surfaced. Evolution fingers activated. Target, high-density alloy battle sword silver, tier. Evolution tier gain, 2, silver gold emerald. 2 tiers. Zhao Yi noted the display silently. This marked the 5th time he had used evolution fingers. The first used upgraded rations 2 tiers, from iron to silver. The second upgraded his combat suit 3 tiers, jumping straight from iron to gold. The third upgraded the grappling hook 2 tiers, iron to silver. The fourth upgraded Doubao 3 tiers, leaping from silver directly to diamond. This sword received 2 tiers of advancement, ascending from silver to emerald. 2 evolutions granted 3 tiers, 3 evolutions granted 2 tiers. No instance yielded merely 1 tier, though the panel clearly stated possible tier gains ranged from 1 to 3. In theory, a single tier upgrade remained possible. What governed the random mechanics of this talent? Pure probability, or were there hidden triggering conditions? The 2-3 tier evolutions occurred with the combat suit and Doubao. What traits did those two share? Zhao Yi pondered for several seconds, but reached no conclusion. Unsolved questions could wait. Patterns would emerge once he accumulated more data in the future. Meanwhile, the light enveloping the alloy battle sword suddenly contracted, then burst outward. Emerald radiance flooded the cabin for an instant before dissipating. When the glow faded, the blade in his hand had transformed completely. It grew longer, measuring nearly 90 centimeters. The original alloy structure vanished entirely, replaced by a single slab of translucent emerald crystal threaded through its core by a continuous strand of luminous filament. The filament burned at low brightness, pulsing slowly as if the blade itself breathed. The hilt transformed as well, no longer composite material, but dark green metal etched with dense runic patterns. The crossguard disappeared, replaced by an oval energy adjustment ring marked with 3 calibration notches. A razor, thin band of vivid green luminescence traced the cutting edge. Zhao Yi closed his hand around the hilt. A faint rhythmic throb traveled up to his palm, beating in sync with his own heartbeat. A brand, new description panel floated into view, its lettering outlined in emerald light. Emerald Cleaver, Emerald Tier. Type, Energy Melee Weapon Damage. 180 to 220 Durability. 500/500 Special Effect. Plasma Edge. The blade consists of constrained plasma. Contact during cutting instantly raises surface temperature to 20,000 degrees Celsius, capable of melting most known metals and star beast carapace. Energy projection. When swinging the blade, an arc-shaped plasma blade wave can be unleashed with an effective range of 50 meters. The damage dealt by the blade wave equals 70% of the wielder's base damage. Each projection consumes 0.5 energy points stored within the hilt. The hilt holds a maximum energy capacity of 10 points and regenerates energy at a rate of 1 point per hour. Weakness detection. A bioelectric field sensor is built into the blade. Upon making contact with a target, it automatically analyzes the target's physical structure and weak points, transmitting the optimal cutting trajectory back to the wielder via neural response fibers. Simply put, this blade tells you where to strike to inflict maximum damage. Energy feedback. Upon eliminating a target, the hilt automatically recovers 2 energy points. Description. An emerald-grade melee weapon boasting a base damage output of 180, equipped with a 20,000-degree plasma cutting edge and the ability to launch 50-meter energy blade waves alongside passive energy restoration. This blade's very existence sends a clear message: don't evade, close in and strike. Zhao Yi gripped the emerald cleaver and gauged its weight. It was roughly 1/3 lighter than its evolved predecessor. Yet as energy circuits flowed within the blade, a faint inertial pull manifested, stabilizing the weapon during swings. He gave it a gentle slash. Instead of the sharp whistle of metal slicing through air, a faint sizzle echoed, the sound of the plasma edge severing air molecules. With a damage range of 180 to 220 paired with his strength attribute of 23.6, he quickly ran calculations in his mind. Previously, when he punched through a void drifter, his strength stood at 21.6. Augmented by the structural reinforcement of his combat suit's arm guards, the instantaneous impact was enough to pierce the steel plating of a light armored vehicle. Now his strength had risen by 2 additional points. Combined with the emerald cleaver, a baseline damage output exceeding 200 coupled with its 20,000-degree plasma edge meant that the level 10 Rift Eel would likely be cleaved clean in 2 from head to tail before it could unleash its breath attack. He twisted the energy adjustment ring on the hilt down to its lowest setting. The plasma glow enveloping the blade dimmed slightly, yet remained steady. Afterwards, he secured the blade to the weapon mount on the rear of his combat suit. The golden-grade combat suit featured 4 weapon mounting interfaces, 2 on the back and 1 on each forearm. The moment the emerald cleaver locked into place, the suit's HUD popped up identification data for the new equipment. Mounted, emerald cleaver, emerald grade rear mount 1. Master. Doubao's voice rang out from the cargo hold. I've finished opening all storage containers. The haul includes 12 canned rations, 4 potable water filter cartridges, 14 primary energy stones, 1 set of black iron multi-purpose maintenance tools, and 1 bronze-grade piece of equipment. Food inventory updated, spare parts for the water circulation system stowed, and all energy stones loaded into the charging slots of the power system. Every energy stone has been fed into the system. The ship's energy reserves are now fully charged. Full capacity at 20 points. With that, Doubao bounded out of the cargo hold, her bare feet tapping lightly against the metal flooring. Zhao Yi glanced at the energy readout. The green indicator bar stretched all the way to the top of the gauge, displaying 20/20ths. This marked the first time since his awakening that the energy gauge had reached full capacity. The solid green bar filled the entire indicator slot, its hue deeper and more stable than the faint, flickering glow he had grown accustomed to when reserves lingered at 9 points. 20 energy points, fully charged. While 20 points remained negligible on a cosmic scale, it represented a massive upgrade compared to his initial reserve of only 9 points. A fully charged energy reserve carried a critical implication. Any additional energy stones he collected would now count as surplus. He could stockpile these excess stones, and once he gathered 50, he could upgrade the power system to bronze grade, drastically raising the maximum energy threshold far above 20 points. Staring at the full green indicator, Zhao Yi tapped his fingers lightly against the control console. Doubao, pull up the scan data for the high-density Star Beast zone. I'm heading into combat. I'm sorting it right now. Doubao hopped back to the control panel, sliding her hands rapidly across the display screen. The route we mapped earlier only covers the outer edge of the high-density zone. Further inward lie 2 regions with even higher concentrations of Star Beasts. The first holds roughly 20 to 30 specimens, mostly levels 3 to 6. The second has fewer creatures, around 10 in total, but all are level 5 or higher. Zhao Yi stared at the dense red skull markers scattered across the star chart, shifting his gaze back and forth between the 2 zones. He now possessed a golden, grade combat suit, the Emerald Cleaver, the Ray Splitter Cannon, and a diamond, grade intelligent assistant capable of precise weapons control. His strength had reached the threshold to hunt in richer territory. Plot a course toward the larger group. Stick to the usual strategy. Clear targets starting from the perimeter and avoid drawing large groups of beasts. Receive. Doubao's fingers danced across the screen as a new flight path materialized. It cut through the central section of the high-density zone, marking 7 projected engagement points and 4 emergency escape routes. Route finalized. Master, the projected combat intensity for this operation is 2 tiers higher than our last engagement. I recommend preheating the Ray Splitter Cannon. Leave the preheating to you. One more thing. Zhao Yi lifted the Deep Space Hunter combat suit hanging on the cabin wall, and its armor plate sealed tightly around his frame. What is it? Doubao turned to face him. Do not disclose my unique ability to outsiders. Doubao froze briefly before nodding earnestly. She raised her right hand, her silvery fingers drawing a checkmark over her chest. I promise I will never tell anyone that you can evolve equipment. If anyone asks, I will say you simply had extraordinary luck opening storage containers. After all, the system's random containers do have a statistical chance of yielding high-grade equipment. That explanation holds up perfectly logically. Zhao Yi shot her a glance and nodded. He finished donning the combat suit, unslung the Emerald Cleaver from its rear mount, and gripped the hilt. He then opened the cabin door and stepped into the pressure airlock. Let's depart. Half an hour later, Zhao Yi arrived at the new zone. This area bore little resemblance to the debris field he had explored previously. Hovering at the boundary, he surveyed the terrain ahead. The Star Beast density here exceeded that of his previous hunting ground by more than 3 times. Red skull markers crowded tightly together on the detection panel. Many overlapped so heavily that he needed to zoom in to distinguish individual creatures. Storage container markers were equally abundant, their rectangular icons interspersed nearly 1-to-1 with the red skulls. Master, scanning complete. Doubao's voice came over the communication channel, brimming with anticipation. Between 200 and 800 meters directly ahead, 27 Star Beasts have been identified, levels 2 through 6. 6 targets are isolated. 8 small packs contain 2 to 3 beasts each, and only 1 group numbers 5 or more. As for containers, 19 black iron, grade, 3 bronze, grade, plus 1 distant signal with undetermined tier. Zhao Yi drew the Emerald Cleaver from his back. The emerald blade materialized in the vacuum. The instant its plasma edge ignited, cosmic dust within several meters was vaporized by extreme heat, wispy cyan smoke drifting outward. Mark the first isolated target. 11 o'clock, 220 meters away. Spine burrow worm, level 4. Zhao Yi activated his thrusters, streaking forward along a dark golden trajectory. The spine burrow worm rested atop a floating rock fragment. Roughly the size of a sedan, its rounded body was covered in dense bony spines. It likely sensed movement through vibrations. When Zhao Yi closed to 50 meters, every spine on its body stood upright, like an agitated hedgehog. Moments later, it launched its spines. Hundreds of bony projectiles hurtled toward Zhao Yi simultaneously, leaving thin white trails through the vacuum. Zhao Yi activated his primary force field barrier. A pale golden energy shield unfurled before him. The incoming spines ricocheted off impact, failing to deplete even 1% of the barrier's energy. He advanced through the volley without pause, covering the 50-meter gap in an instant. The emerald cleaver sliced diagonally downward from above. The 20,000-degree plasma edge cut into the spine burrow worm's body as smoothly as a hot knife through butter. The blade penetrated its back and exited through its abdomen, bisecting the star beast entirely. No bodily fluids spilled into the void. The extreme plasma heat vaporized all organic matter the moment the cut was made, leaving only 2 smoldering blackened cross sections. Spine burrow worm level 4 eliminated. Experience plus 15. Zhao Yi did not slow. He angled his thrusters and veered toward the 2 o'clock position. His second target was a flat, flying creature with a wingspan exceeding 2 meters. Its body was paper, thin, lined with jagged bony protrusions along its edges. The system labeled it Wing Drifter, Level 4. It attempted to slash Zhao Yi's faceplate with the serrated edges of its wings. Zhao Yi did not evade. He seized the thinnest section of its wing with his left hand. The serrations scraped across the combat suit's arm guard, showering sparks without even scratching the paint. His right hand swept the emerald cleaver horizontally. The wing drifter's tissue carbonized instantly under plasma heat, breaking into 2 charred fragments that drifted away. Winged Drifter Level 4 eliminated. Experience plus 18. Third target. Fourth. Fifth. Zhao Yi wove through the star beasts. Bright emerald arcs of plasma blade light streaked across the vacuum with every swing of the cleaver. Each luminous arc ended with a star beast sliced apart, incinerated, or severed. His thrusters barely ceased operation. For vector nozzles continuously adjusted direction, enabling him to follow erratic attack paths that defied inertia. The 50-meter range of his energy projection removed the need to close into melee every time. When small groups of Level 2 and Level 3 star beasts clustered together, he simply unleashed an arc blade wave to wipe them out in one strike. Doubao coordinated seamlessly alongside him. Master, 2 Level 5 beasts are approaching from your blind spot on the left. Estimated time to contact, 15 seconds. The ray splitter cannon has locked onto 1, ready to fire on command. Fire. A beam from the ship's main cannon shot forward, passing cleanly through the gap, separating Zhao Yi from the 2 star beasts. It struck the first Level 5 beast square in the head, piercing it with a single, decisive hit. I'll leave the other one for you. Understood. Zhao Yi spun and delivered a finishing slash. While he fought at the front, grapple drones recovered loot behind him. Moments after each kill, dropped containers and energy stones floating in the void were snatched precisely by the grapples before they could drift far. Doubao piloted the retrieval units while keeping up a running tally, her voice growing increasingly excited. The 12th black iron container secured in storage. The ship's energy reserve remains full. Surplus energy stones are stacked in the cargo hold. 9 extra stones so far. Keep stockpiling the surplus. We will use them to upgrade subsystems once we gather enough. Understood. There is something I neglected to mention earlier. The glowing star beast we defeated dropped a bronze-grade container. I have stowed it separately. Zhao Yi struck down the last nearby star beast and scanned his surroundings. Within a 300-meter radius centered on his position, every star beast had been cleared. Creature debris drifted through the vacuum, and clouds of pale blue bodily fluid stretched slowly under Jupiter's gravitational pull. Residual heat radiating from the emerald cleaver raised local temperatures slightly above standard space ambient levels. The number of red skull markers on the detection panel had dwindled dramatically. Zhao Yi checked his experience gauge. He needed another 15% to advance to Level 3. He was about to ask Doubao to scan the next sector when a faint moving signal caught his eye at the edge of the detection feed. It belonged to a spacecraft, roughly 2 kilometers away at the fringe of the battlefield. A black iron-grade vessel drifted slowly onward. Its velocity was unusually sluggish, as if the pilot had frozen mid-operation. Zhao Yi paid it no mind and set course toward his next target. The pilot of that ship was Lu Zheng. He had survived 2 days in the 10086 newbie zone. He had opened 8 black iron containers, eaten 3 cans of nutrient rations, and killed 1 Level 1 star beast, trapped outside his airlock and crushed by the closing hatch. He considered himself reasonably accomplished, knowing many participants never even dared exit their ships according to the public chat channel. Confident enough to venture deeper into the debris belt in search of better loot, he set out. Then he witnessed a figure clad in dark golden armor wielding a glowing green blade cutting down over a dozen star beasts as effortlessly as chopping vegetables. The entire sequence unfolded in less than 5 minutes. Lu Zhang's fingers locked stiffly over his control panel. His mind struggled to process what he had seen, yet he instinctively activated the detector's video recording function. The footage was blurry. From 2 kilometers away, the imaging capability of his black iron scanner could barely resolve outlines. Still, the silhouette was unforgettable. Dark golden armor, streaks of emerald blade light, darting among the star beasts at impossible speeds and angles. He uploaded the video to the Newbie Zone's public chat channel. Lu Zhang, I captured this footage in Sector B of the debris belt. This single player cleared an entire cluster of star beasts. I don't recognize who it is. Watch for yourselves. The moment the video finished uploading, the public channel erupted. What speed? Is that even human? What tier is that armor? Everyone only starts with black iron space suits provided by the system. That's not black iron. That color looks golden. Golden? Are you joking? I've opened 20 containers without finding a single silver item, and you claim someone wears golden armor. Wait a minute. That blade emits green light. What tier corresponds to green? I'm still prying open food cans with a black iron tool, and this person wields an emerald blade to hunt star beasts. Could this be Zhao Yi? The one who got the first star beast kill? It has to be him. Nobody else in this zone has gear this powerful. Hey expert, are you looking for an assistant? I'm Black Iron. Tier support, low energy consumption. Calm down. I heard a female voice over his communication channel before. His ship already has someone aboard. A female voice. How does this guy have everything? Elsewhere, Suing Shue had just completed an external salvage operation. Using her own Black Iron grapple system, she recovered 3 containers, one of which held a bronze-grade starship component. She was confident her progress ranked within the top 3 across the entire zone. Then she spotted the video circulating in the public channel. She replayed the blurry silhouette again and again. Dark golden armor, emerald blade light, unmatched mobility, and kill efficiency amid packs of star beasts. She watched the footage 3 times in a row, attempting to estimate Zhao Yi's true combat power. She recalled Zhao Yi's earlier message in the elite group chat. Just got lucky and found a good container. If that armor was truly golden grade, his luck far exceeded ordinary standards. Paired with an emerald blade, possessing both golden defensive equipment and an emerald offensive weapon on only the 2nd day of the survival challenge was unheard of. Suing Shue closed the video and leaned back in her pilot's seat, falling silent for a long stretch. She had believed she was already a strong contender. But if she faced Zhao Yi in direct combat, how long could she last? 3 seconds? 5 seconds? She took a deep breath and reactivated her control interface. She could not allow the gap between them to widen further. She opened the detection system and began searching for a new star beast hunting ground. Zhao Yi struck down another star beast, and the notification popped up confirming his advancement to level 3. Experience threshold reached. Level advancement initiated. Current level, 2-3. Health, 200-300. Energy, 200-300. All attributes +2. A zone-wide announcement appeared once more. Zone announcement. Survivor Zhao Yi has achieved a level breakthrough, becoming the first participant in this zone to reach level 3. Reward. 1 selectable silver container. The public chat channel flooded with new messages, though Zhao Yi paid them no attention. He stowed the selectable silver container in his system storage and prepared to order Doubao to scan the next region. On a rocky outcrop ahead rested an unfamiliar shape. He frowned. Roughly the size of a small dog, its ash-gray surface was pockmarked. Stationary upon the rock, it blended seamlessly with the surrounding stone. Yet it had shifted a moment before, and Zhao Yi was certain he had seen the movement. Doubao, scan that object. Scanning now, Doubao's tone paused briefly before rising sharply with alarm. Master, there is something abnormal about it. Its outer shell blocks standard detection scans. 3 initial scans returned only rock signatures, but magnification through the ray splitter's optical scope reveals rhythmic respiration. It is alive and camouflaged. It's a living creature? Affirmative. After switching scanning frequencies, I detected an anomalous energy signature originating from its position, an extremely high density energy core mostly shielded by its carapace. Core energy levels are rising rapidly. It is waking up. Zhao Yi tightened his grip on the emerald cleaver. Threat assessment. Based on comparison with previous Star Beast signatures, This creature's energy output is approximately twice that of the Rift eel we encountered earlier. For the first time, clear tension tinged Dobao's voice. Does it pose a major threat to me? It presents some risk, but not overwhelming. Your new Emerald-grade weapon creates a significant equipment tier advantage. Its primary threat comes from attribute bonuses tied to level suppression. Still, your offensive and defensive statistics make victory achievable. Zhao Yi watched the creature stir. If he could fight it, he would not retreat. Cracks spiderwebbed across the ash, gray outer shell, brilliant purple light shining through the fissures. Chunks of the carapace flaked away, unveiling its true form. A sleek four-legged star beast covered in dark purple scales. Purple lightning lizard silver, grade star beast a level 10. Breaking free entirely from its discarded shell, it lifted its head and let out a roar inaudible within the vacuum. Nevertheless, the combat suit's sensors registered a powerful electromagnetic pulse radiating outward from its body. Star beast debris and rock fragments within hundreds of meters surged away from the shockwave. Then its head snapped toward Zhao Yi. Its four limbs pushed off the void, ripples of purple energy spreading outward. Its lithe form shot forward at a speed utterly disproportionate to its size. Zhao Yi did not dodge. He activated his force field shield, gripped his blade firmly, and met the attack head-on. The purple lightning lizard's right forepaw, wreathed in purple electric arcs, slammed into the force field shield. 20 shield points vanished in an instant. A silver tier level 10 star beast's single strike dealt damage equal to the combined attacks of all the star beasts he had fought before. Zhao Yi held his ground and stepped forward beneath the shield. The emerald cutter swept upward from below. Its plasma edge bit into the purple lightning lizard's right forelimb. The moment the 20,000-degree heat made contact with the dark purple scales, fierce purple electric sparks erupted across the plating. The scales actively discharged electricity in an attempt to offset the plasma blade's heat. Yet the damage of an emerald-tier weapon overcame silver-tier defenses. The blade sank halfway deep. Purple bodily fluid sprayed from the wound, boiling into clouds of purple vapor in the vacuum. Crippled by pain, the purple lightning lizard lashed out with three whip-like tails from three separate directions. Dobao's voice crackled over the communication channel. Master, I have passively mapped the trajectories of its tail strikes. Shift left to evade two, then block the third head, on to create an opening for a counterattack. Zhao Bao followed Dobao's warning and shifted his torso. Two tails grazed his shoulder and back armor. He caught the third tail directly with his left arm. Purple arcs raced along his armored plating and surged across his body. The combat suit's insulation layer activated instantly, channeling the electricity into the armor's external energy dissipation grid, where it faded into a halo of purple light. He seized the captured tail with his left hand and brought the emerald cutter down with his right. One of the three tails was severed cleanly midway. The severed tail twitched wildly in the vacuum. The escaping purple fluid trailed a jagged stream of droplets. The purple lightning lizard let out a shrill cry transmitted through electromagnetic waves. Its two remaining tails coiled tightly around Zhao Yi's waist. Its forepaws clamped onto his chest plate. It opened its jaws, bringing its maw inches from his faceplate. A tightly compressed sphere of purple energy began forming deep within its throat. Dobao opened fire. When it opens its mouth, the energy shielding inside its oral cavity temporarily weakens. Now is the time to strike. The next instant, a beam from the rectilinear light cannon shot sideways, pouring straight into the lizard's open jaws. A single blast pierced its upper palate, scattering the incompletely formed energy ball inside its mouth. The purple lightning lizard's body stiffened. Seizing the chance, Zhao Yi tore free of the tail bindings. He raised his blade with both hands, leapt upward, and drove a full, power strike into the joint connecting its neck to its torso, the optimal cutting path identified by Dobao's weakness analysis. The emerald cutter sliced in from the side of its neck, piercing scales, muscle, and bone before emerging on the opposite side. The purple lightning lizard's head separated from its body. The lizard's skull tumbled away through space, jaws still agape. The purple light within its eye sockets flickered twice, then dimmed forever. The headless body twitched one final time. Its four limbs slowly went limp, motionless. Purple lightning lizard silver tier, level 10 eliminated. Experience gained, 280. Zhao Yi drifted beside the star beast's corpse, his chest heaving. The combat suit's life support system hissed quietly in his ears. It pumped oxygen, rich air into his faceplate. He checked his shield gauge, 60% remained. He could win the fight, that much was clear. Still, This creature's attack power outclassed level 5 star beasts by at least an order of magnitude. Without his gold tier combat suit and the emerald cutter, he would have died out here today. The rewards matched the risk, however. Several items floated beside the lizard's remains. A fist-sized purple energy crystal, a shard of its scaled hide, and a silver treasure chest. A silver chest dropped from a silver tier star beast. That made sense. Doubao collect the spoils. Already underway. Scans identify the purple crystal as a high-density energy aggregate, a mid-tier energy stone. Its energy capacity equals roughly 100 basic energy stones. The scale shard is silver tier material. We can store it to forge armor later. The silver chest has been secured in storage. Doubao's tone turned cheerful once more. Master, all battlefield loot has been recovered. I've tallied everything. 37 iron chests, 5 bronze chests, 1 silver chest, 58 energy stones of varying grades, plus assorted raw materials. The cargo hold is nearly full. I stacked items 3 layers deep just to fit everything. Zhao Yi sheathed the emerald cutter onto his back mount and glanced over the ravaged battlefield. Countless star beast carcasses drifted across the void, stretching as far as the eye could see. Doubao continued working diligently, dragging the last few overlooked iron chests out from piles of wreckage into the cargo hold. 37 iron, 5 bronze, 1 silver. Combined with the energy stones and materials he had accumulated previously, the haul from this single excursion dwarfed everything he had collected over the prior 2 days put together. Truly, greater risk brought greater reward. Let's head back to the ship and rest. Thrusters ignited. The dark, gold figure streaked a straight line against the backdrop of Star Beast wreckage. It was heading toward his 6-meter ramshackle vessel. It was still merely an iron-tier starship, rusted with loose rivets. Yet its cargo hold brimmed with resources enough to upgrade every onboard subsystem to the next tier. Zhao Yi stepped into the airlock. The outer hatch sealed, and pressure flooded the chamber. He leaned against the airlock wall, listening to the hiss of incoming air, and smiled before striding into the main cabin. Doubao sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by stacks of containers. Dozens of crates, piled alongside his older stockpiles, formed a small metal mountain inside the cabin. Floating weightlessly, her short white hair drifted gently. She held a data slate. She was logging the grade, category, and purpose of every item at a speed impossible for human eyes to follow. The mid-tier energy stone rested neatly in a compartment Doubao had cleared for it. Fist-sized, dense purple crystal held a thick swirl of light, rotating slowly within, vastly different from the faint luminescence of basic energy stones. A single stone worth 100 basic ones. This expedition had already paid off just from this find alone. Zhao Yi hung his combat suit on the bulkhead and rolled his shoulders. Doubao, open all the iron and bronze chests. Keep all energy stones. Retain enough food and water to sustain me for 2 months. Sell everything else. Gear, materials, consumables, surplus rations, and water on the trading channel in exchange for energy stones. Sell everything? Doubao tilted her head. Some iron tier equipment is low grade, but wouldn't it be wise to keep a few spares? No need. Iron tier gear is useless to me now. It only takes up storage space. If I ever need low-tier equipment as base materials for evolution later, I can simply buy them cheaply on the trading channel. Understood. Doubao reached for the first iron chest. Her finger tapped the lid, and the latches snapped open automatically. How should I set prices? The trading channel only recently opened, and market values are chaotic. Some users list 3 cans for 1 energy stone, while others demand 2 stones for a single can. Set prices at a slight discount below market rate to sell quickly. Energy points are our top priority right now, not extra equipment. Got it? Small profit, fast turnover. With that, Doubao began unlocking crates. Her efficiency made Zhao Yi's earlier manual looting feel like a waste of time. She opened 2 chests simultaneously, scanned each haul, sorted items by category as she muttered to herself. She dragged trade goods directly to the channel listing interface. Every movement flowed seamlessly without a single pause. Zhao Yi turned his attention away from her and stared at the 2 silver chests on the control console. One was the selectable silver chest, the reward for reaching level 3 that triggered a server-wide announcement. The other was the ordinary silver chest dropped by the purple lightning lizard. Its silver metallic casing bore unfamiliar engravings. It shimmered with soft, cool light under cabin illumination. He picked up the ordinary silver chest first. The instant the lid opened, silver light surged outward. Once the glow faded, a compact cannon rested within. Its design bore no resemblance to the rectilinear light cannon, with its squared barrel and crystal lens. This weapon was forged from matte black metal, featuring a short, stout barrel terminating in a compact rotary multi-barrel assembly. It was like a minigun's turret condensed into a tight frame. Two parallel energy slots ran along the side. Factory installed energy cores within glowed faint blue. Storm, type Gauss Rapid, fire cannon silver tier. Type, Starship mounted weapon occupies medium hardpoint damage, 180 to 220 per second continuous fire. Effective range, 600 meters / maximum range, 1,500 meters energy consumption, 0.5 energy points per second Starship mount mode. Special traits, kinetic penetration, hypervelocity spinning Gauss rounds bypass shields to strike targets directly. 90% shield penetration rate. Suppressive fire. After firing continuously for 3 seconds, rate of fire doubles, peaking at 60 rounds per second. After 10 seconds of sustained fire, the barrel overheats and requires 5 seconds of cooling. Area engagement mode, toggle scatter mode. Each shot splits into 12 smaller projectiles covering a conical zone. Individual projectile damage drops to 25%, but total coverage area increases 6-fold. Description, steady damage output starting at 180 per second, shield penetration, variable fire rate, and area attacks. Its only drawback is high energy draw, half a point each second, amounting to 30 points every minute. Zhao Yi lifted the Gauss Rapid fire cannon from the chest and hefted it. It was heavy, at least 3 times the mass of the rectilinear light cannon. The matte black metal felt cold beneath his palm. The rotary mechanism spun smoothly for several rotations when he twisted it, evidence of precision machining. 180 to 220 damage per second, with 90% shield penetration. Starship weapon damage operated on an entirely different scale, comparable to strikes from his Emerald Cutter. The catch was its silver tier classification. If this cannon had been mounted on his ship during the battle against the Purple Lightning Lizard, close quarters combat would have been unnecessary. He could have eliminated the beast from afar. He set the Gauss cannon beside the console, planning to redesign his hardpoint layout alongside the rectilinear light cannon once he upgraded the vessel. Then he pulled up the selection interface for the selectable silver chest. Dozens of categories lined the screen: weaponry, armor, enhancement, consumables, special, starship weaponry, starship equipment, starship buffs, energy resources, material resources, random mystery box, engineering gear, engineering blueprints. He had no shortage of weapons. The Emerald Cutter served close combat. The rectilinear light cannon handled long-range strikes. And the newly acquired Gauss cannon rounded out his firepower. His armor was sufficient too. The gold-tier combat suit would serve him well within the novice zone. He also had 2 starship cannons waiting to be fitted. Starship equipment was a tempting option. An improved shield generator or fire control system would greatly boost the vessel's overall combat capability. His cursor hovered over the Starship Equipment tab briefly before shifting to Special. The last time he chose Special, he obtained Doubao, a Diamond-tier artificial intelligence companion. Unconditionally loyal, capable of independent upgrades, and providing comprehensive combat support. The potential ceiling of this category was extraordinarily high. Selecting any other category risked wasting a chance at an overpowered asset. Confirm selection of Special category for the selectable silver chest? This choice cannot be reversed. He confirmed. Silver light burst across the console. When the radiance faded, what lay inside made him pause. A stone. A fist-sized translucent spherical crystal sealing a swirling mass of silver mist. The mist rotated slowly within, casting a thin arc of silver light with every revolution. The crystal surface was glass, smooth and warm to the touch, as if the contained mist emitted constant gentle heat. Spatial warp stone silver tier. Type, single. Use special consumable effect. Upon activation, designate any direction to instantly teleport 1,000 kilometers. Teleport carries all objects within a 5-meter radius around the user. No activation cooldown. Remaining uses, 1/1. Description, a one-time emergency escape tool. When facing an unbeatable foe, crush the crystal after choosing a direction, and you will reappear 1,000 kilometers away the next instant. Once novice protection expires, all star beasts will turn hostile. This artifact could save his life then. Bear in mind it works only once and vanishes after use. Do not waste it on trivial tests. Zhao Yi took the spatial warp stone and examined it carefully in his palm. Inside the translucent crystal, the silver mist continued its slow rotation, calm and stable. It gave no hint of its ability to shift him 1,000 kilometers in an instant. 1,000 kilometers of directional instant travel. Within the novice protection zone, the item seemed of limited utility. Star Beast would not attack unprovoked. It let him choose when to fight or retreat. Yet after protection lapsed, all Star Beasts would become aggressive. If he accidentally stumbled into a high-tier Star Beast nest or became surrounded by swarms, this stone would be his lifeline. He stowed the spatial warp stone inside a storage slot built into his combat suit. Located on the inner side of his chest plate, the compartment was a small built-in storage space designed to hold a single compact item. He secured the stone, fastened the inner clasp, and tapped his chest to confirm it was firmly held. Next, he checked the remaining uses of the Finger of Evolution. Remaining daily uses, January 3rd. His gaze swept across the cabin. The Gauss Rapid Fire Cannon was a silver-tier starship weapon. If evolved, it might rise to emerald or even diamond tier. The spatial warp stone was a silver-tier consumable. What would evolution bring? Greater teleportation range? Or conversion into a reusable item? After brief consideration, he decided to hold off. The Finger of Evolution reset daily. Yet only one charge remained today. His ship was due for comprehensive upgrades. Once completed, all subsystem interfaces would refresh, and more opportunities to use the Finger of Evolution would arise. He would save the final charge until the vessel's upgrades finished. Master, everything is sorted. Doubao's voice echoed from the cargo hold, bright with excitement. Zhao Yi turned. The mountain of crates had vanished entirely. Supplies lined the cargo hold neatly, retained stock on the left. Trade goods prepared for listing on the right. Doubao stood in the cargo hold doorway holding her data slate, a satisfied smile on her silver-gray face. Report. Total items processed, 103. Inventory includes 41 basic energy stones, 1 mid-tier energy stone, and 68 portions of food and water. I followed your orders and reserved enough supplies for 2 months, 40 ration packs, and matching water. The remaining 28 portions are listed on the trading channel. What about equipment? 19 iron tier gear pieces, 3 bronze tier gear pieces, plus assorted raw materials. Doubao rotated the slate so Zhao Yi could read the manifest. Iron tier equipment includes 6 spacesuits for melee weapons, 3 ranged weapons, and 6 utility tools. Bronze tier stock consists of 1 shield generator, 1 light combat armor, and 1 energy pistol. I intend to list all of them without keeping any spares. What pricing strategy did you set? All priced below market rates for fast liquidation. A hint of pride colored Doubao's tone. Current market norms price iron tier equipment at 5 to 10 energy stones apiece. I listed all at 4 stones. Bronze tier gear typically sells for 15 to 20 stones. Mine are priced at 12. Food and water usually trade for 1 to 2 stones each. I set all listings at 1 stone proportion. Zhao Yi mentally tallied the potential returns. Combined with the value of the mid-tier energy stone, full sales would net roughly 400 energy points. From the moment he woke up until now, his energy reserves had never exceeded 20 points. Suddenly coming into 400 was an enormous fortune. It would cover upgrades for all 7 subsystems plus the full starship overhaul, with leftover reserves. Doubao, how long until all listings sell out? Doubao projected the trading channel interface onto the main console screen. Everything should clear within an hour. My prices are highly competitive. 3 iron gear pieces and 1 bronze armor have already been purchased within the first minute of posting. Zhao Yi stretched his fingers, joints clicking softly. That works. Sales moved faster than anticipated. Slightly more than half an hour later, all goods had been bought. It brought exactly 400 energy points. Zhao Yi opened the starship status panel. 7 subsystems lined up on screen, each followed by a grayed-out upgrade button. He started from the top with the energy system. Energy system, iron tier energy system, bronze tier. Upgrade cost, 50 energy points. Confirm upgrade?